Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Enchantress.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Clockwork.
Dire team pick.
Void incarnate.
Ten seconds remaining.
One best of 3 with a lot on the line for both Team Spirit and NoTechies, as they will go head-to-head here in the upper division of the CIS DPC League. You're watching ESL One, powered by Intel, and we are ready for the draft of this first game. We got on the big screen, we got BSJ joining us, still here with Kyle and Tigov as well, and the draft has started for this first game. Brian, these two teams, NoTechies, Team Spirit, what do you expect to see from them? Or rather, let me change this, or what do you think of their openings? We are quite far in already.
I actually I have liked all of Team Spirit's drafts so far throughout this DPC. I think I agree with everyone everything has been said about their performance against Team Empire. I was severely disappointed with mainly Toronto Tokyo, who I felt like just kind of got careless and overextended their leads constantly. So he's most likely going to be playing the OD. I feel like anywhere that's not NA, I'm primarily seeing OD in the mid lane. This is a hero that fits his bill. He snowballs his lane. He's almost always won when I watch him. And now I just want to see him not diving tier 2s when the tier 1 is still alive.
That seems very reasonable.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Take it to your pubs, guys. Don't dive tier 2s. Or 3.
Don't dive.
Don't die as well.
Yeah, we saw that punish Navi earlier.
We really understand Durek. Wow.
Don't die.
Don't die,
Kill
don't dive.
enemy throne.
I think outside of maybe the best 2 or 3 teams in the world, everything in Dota is about limiting unforced errors versus making some crazy maneuvers or what have you. It's just don't make big, huge mess ups. Execute. The problem is there's just so many ways to lose games, you know? Bad pick too early, you missed a ban, you didn't defend your mid tower, you made a bad smoke, you didn't have ward, they snuck Roche, like, you know.
Correct preparation, but also
take the L.
Don't force your hand when you don't need to. Like, understand when you're strong. And
You gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them, you gotta know when to walk away. Nothing?
No, nothing, Kyle. Like, no, this is your monologue.
All right.
This was your time to shine.
And you...
Yeah, I was waiting for the follow-up.
No, exactly.
There wasn't one.
Nope. Useless.
There was an entree for BSJ to go into one of his deep dives into this second ban phase.
The most exciting part of the draft for sure.
The Lycan ban. What does it mean?
They don't want to be ran at. There you go. Tip for you. But we don't see Clockwork as an opener. ever, really. So what do we think about that? We've seen OD quite a few times at the start of the DPC League, but recently it feels like, at least in CIS, it's kind of fallen off. I know that it's still quite picked in some other regions.
It's kind of like a gimmick hero where it first came to light because it's like, brand new hero can play at support, wow. And then people play at support and they're like, wait a second, if it's this good on support, why is it not a core? We could put items onto the hero too. And then people are like, oh my god, it's a great core again. And then people realize, wait a second, a week of it being in the meta, and potentially with Team Spirit, they are just kind of showing, we're just going to pick it. Maybe they flex it, but I expect it to be off lane or mid into that core role.
How would it do against the Void Spirit if that is going to be our matchup?
It's a bruiser. It's very annoying in lane. Arcane Orb is very potent, so yeah, I expect it to be fine.
I would expect it to be a good matchup for Void or for the OD. The OD kind of reminds me of Doom. It's like the minute he gets a Meteor Hammer, nobody really wants to lane against him. But if he tries to do the whole Astral Meteor Hammer combo and the enemy team just has somebody there ready to counter the play, similar to when Doom goes for the Doom, he's pretty underwhelming from my experience. Like he doesn't do anything other than Meteor Hammer creep waves or maybe the tower. And he's relatively slow in terms of, obviously he's a fast movement speed hero, but he doesn't necessarily do something fancy. He kind of just wanders around the map, following people up. And he does have problems dealing with illusion heroes as well as summons. And I think them removing Lycan is good, but at the same time, you know, I'm going to be looking out for like a PL type hero in the 4th pick for NoTechies.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's why I am just not a fan of the concept. A big hallmark of a lot of the top teams drafting is that their openers, not only are they versatile in terms of the lanes and roles they can go to, but they can mix and match their playstyle. Like think of a Void Spirit and the edits you can make to it. An OD is just straight up buying a Meteor Hammer and then trying to add, like that's it. That's the whole hero. That's it. And you do effectively nothing against BKBs. You can get abused in lane by pretty much anything with a creep.
Ooh, and then they pick a Rubik.
And now you're going to get your Astral stolen, and it's going to last longer. And it's, what is it, like 6 seconds when Rubik steals it?
Very, very
maxed out aura?
for sure.
That's 44%, right? So it's actually 6. No, it's 5.
Numbers are being.
I'll look this up for you because they actually reworked Rubik's
5.66 seconds, according to the old patch.
Yeah, no, what it does now is that his ultimate debuff, like it amps the debuffs that he steals while his passive is just bonus cast range and spell amp.
Of course.
So his stolen debuff amp is only 10, 20, 30%, but at max level, that's lasting over 5 seconds. So that's
true.
Still pretty nutty.
It would last 5.2 seconds.
That's some quick math there, Kyle.
Ooh. So Team Spirit respond to NoTechies' opening heroes of kind of more laning heroes, skirmishing ability, just by going, we're just going to pick a troll. You know, you don't really have this kind of banish, this annoying kind of potent hero that can annoy the troll. There's no like halberd buy right now. Of course, 2 more picks are available. But yeah, Team Spirit, they have really, really strong lanes. And when they hit this kind of 1 or 2 item timing on each hero, be it the Meteor Hammer on the OD, the +1 on the troll, then they're going to be really able to run into what looks like a laning heavy lineup of NoTechies.
Niench and Rubik don't feel great playing against the Clockwork, assuming they're both supports.
And even the CM, like all you need to do is CM mirrors the Enchantress, Clockwork mirrors the Rubik, and then suddenly your map feels awkward. Like CM counters Ench and Rubik counters Clock, but if they're running into each other, then they're not applying the pressure to the cores. So yeah.
And you probably last pick your mid for Spirit still. I'm not sure I'm sold on the OD off lane. I keep seeing it in games I play personally. It's very popular in NA, but it's just
a really good reference point, Kyle. I think we should really continue this. So what about these pubs of yours?
No, BSJ is the expert on pubs, but the NA region likes the OD off lane. Ice plays it constantly. It's just, you know what it is? It's fun. Like it's got to be hilarious to be in a professional Dota 2 match, and your strategy is to astral and drop a hammer on someone.
You gotta time it.
Giggle.
Gotta wait for the little bar to go underneath the S, and then you got the hammer.
And you back off and do it again. Okay, morph into OD is a little spooky.
For who?
For the morphling.
Why?
Because you can take a lot of damage from the hammer. Not the meteor hammer, but the actual hammer. Yes.
Sanities?
We'll call that the sledgehammer.
seconds remaining.
It's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Yeah.
It is probably pretty weak in lane, I'd have to imagine, if they choose to put the OD off lane. Usually when I see OD off lane or Enigma off lane, I consider like Viper falls in this category too. I consider these offlaners to be like their entire intention is to ruin the game for the carry. Like no carry wants to lane against these heroes. And I usually opt to pick heroes that can jungle or rotate between lane and jungle relatively early, just to shorten that laning stage, especially against OD, because until he gets Meteor Hammer, he's not actually threatening your tower or anything, so you don't have to lane, and he's not going to flash farm or push his advantage like that. So the problem I have with Morphling here is that if they don't win top, or excuse me, bottom, because they're Radiant, if they don't win bottom, then I think Morphling will really struggle this game.
And luckily they are covered by the Enchantress, so we haven't really seen it that much, but it is normally a lane securer. It just depends on type of game they're really going to play with this Ench Morphling. And also, what are they doing with this Void Spirit? And we can talk a lot about the Morphling lane, but my only concern is they have one strong lane, and then there's not really much presence elsewhere on the map. In Team Spirit, they have these saves, these initiations, strength of like this team timing, and NoTechies, they are relying so heavily on strong lane and set the pace themselves, and then find the pickoffs, utilize that E-Blade to maybe kill the troll before he gets into a good position. It just, yeah, the simplicity of draft, for sure right now, goes for Team Spirit, and they have last pick.
One thing that I am happy with on the side of the NoTechies is that they do something completely different to what we've seen them do against Live to Win and Na'Vi. So
Is that good?
Well, I think so, because it definitely wasn't working before. So they have made some adjustments. They did their preparation. They did their homework. And this is what they're going to come up with. We don't know yet how it's going to be played out 100%. So
That's true.
I'm happy to see them change it up a bit.
Yeah, for sure. It's refreshing to see a new take, especially after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You need to really kind of just discover yourself and find yourself, and
Yeah.
Maybe they did.
I think
And this is it.
yeah,
The biggest read into the prep is just these first picks, because you have so much time to look at what you want to do. The supports, like, what are you comfortable universally selecting into an empty lineup, right? And in this case, it was Ench and Clock, which we haven't seen today at all. So it's just always really interesting to see how these teams value their 4 and 5 positions, what it is they consider open, because I really don't think Ench Core is something, same with Clock. Like, they traditionally were played as offlaners, but now they're pretty much relegated just to the support role. I just want to see a Shadow Fiend. Just once. We won't this game, unfortunately.
It's really nice against Morph and Void Spirit. Is it too crazy? It seems like a Toronto-Tokyo type of hero.
I wouldn't mind it. I just think it's weird when you have OD trolls the other course. The SF Clock Soul thing, that doesn't still work, does it?
It does.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
We just don't see. I mean, if there was a game. The thing is, you go nuke first nowadays on SF. You don't really need the cheese anymore.
This Pugna pick though, like on paper, it does really well, because the classic, into OD, into Troll. The difference is Troll with the Ags can now dispel decrep on himself or the target he's going on, so potentially that can come into occurrence.
It's so much better.
Yep. The way that I see it though is it's a good hero for the idea of they're going to skirmish, they're going to fight, they will have a strong lane with Ench +1, and then they're going to look to try and pressure the map, and it will force itemization on Troll to be more defensive. And this is very scary.
All right, BSJ, final thoughts on this draft?
I just think Team Spirit's draft, I think TGov said it well. It's so much more straightforward. I think it's easier to play. They don't really have somebody that clearly wants to go in on the side of NoTechies. I would much rather be the Troll with the backup he's got in the team fights than I would be the Morphling with the backup he's got. I think a Maelstrom Ags BKB Troll is pretty unkillable this game, and he's got OD to save him. He's got Mars to go in first. I just think he's going to be enabled to carry this.
Yep, I got to agree. Surprisingly, with BSJ, the Troll Axe changes everything in your relationship with against Pugna, and it's just an easier draft. You have natural frontliners. You can face check to start engagements. Just simpler. I'm
just worried about the fight where you have like the Morphling go in, the Pugna go in. They're all going on like one hero, and then that one in prison comes through. And then the arena on top, and then like Solo's on his Enchantress, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So
how about just BKBs? What do you do against BKBs?
Right. I know you like Team Spirit's draft better, but what does NoTechies need to do to have a good shot here?
There is a lot of greed coming out from a Troll, from an OD, and there's a lot of pressure on Mars to be in the right place at the right time to kind of counter those aggressive plays. And if he does that, then Team Spirit should walk with this. If he messes up with those big team fights early on, and the map feels small, OD Troll, not enough space to fight, Suddenly looking at Morphling running quickly, so there's a window to win.
All right, well, let's find out how this first game will play itself out. We are heading over to our commentary team of Purge and NoTechies.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yes, looking forward to this one here. NoTechies versus Team Spirit Purge. We heard the panel not really thinking too much of NoTechies' draft against what Spirit have. Do you sort of agree with their concern, or do you see something that they're missing from NoTechies?
Dangerous thing about their lineup for sure. They are going to focus on the laning stage ideally. I mean, Enchantress typically does do very well in terms of stabilizing your early game, but when the team fight aspects come, they're absolutely right that Team Spirit's lineup is just easier to initiate. Clockwork's going to disrupt things. You're going to have to deal with Mars ulti, despite having a bunch of ranged heroes. Be a little bit worse for them. Typically, Void Spirit offlane is it can be good, can be very effective, but it also has some weaknesses in terms of fight output compared to typical offlaners.
Nice snow angel.
Sure, and sort of overall, you know, this decision from NoTechies to drop down the Morph, is this something that you consider Spirit's lineup's going to be pretty well kitted out to deal with? Like, how hard is it going to be for this Morph to pop off?
Well, I mean, Morphling is going to have the potential to get bursts, to do some burst type stuff, but they've got Banish for saves. They can use Clockwork to counter initiate for saves as well, so his laning stage should go relatively good, but Mars will probably just get like one bulwark, so you won't have to worry too much about being out harassed. So I guess the laning stage should be okay for Mars, but those later stages again, a bit how well they're backing usually.
We'll see. So the lane setups here, of course, Solo is going to be heading down bottom to keep Crystallize protected down here in this duo lane, and then up top, as you said, sort of the offlane Void Spirit, it can mean that you lack sort of certain elements down the line. I mean, how's the lane sort of going to go off? You know, is he going to be able to pressure this troll early, or is Yatoro going to not really be too fussed about what he's up against?
If it's like small skirmishes, Void Spirit will be fine against Troll basically, but in terms of like fights to the death, I don't really see Void Spirit killing the Troll Warlord. CM, certainly very vulnerable, right? Like, you can throw her in the air, toss her back, and then also do an there's a lot of movement on. So killing CM is certainly very doable, so as long as Mofosha has decent laning stage, this won't be too terrible for Spirit. I think Troll will be able to get his farm, and I don't think he's dodging. All you gotta do is dodge the Aether Remnant. So at least pre-level 6, I think he's...
Let's see how things are going on in this mid matchup now. Toronto, Tokyo against Aegon. Pretty even on the CS for now. How do you imagine this is going to go down? You know, between sort of the Decrepify and the Blast, is Aegon going to be able to get an edge, or is Toronto, Tokyo able to sort of use the Astral to match what the Pugna's getting out of this lane?
I like the Pugna pick to match up here, because obviously a hero like Void Spirit's getting a lot more damage, but Pugna has options like this. He can use Blast, he can use Decrep to prevent his opponent from getting last hit, so he has some counterplay basically. When he hits 6, obviously getting a long duration life drain is not looking very response, but at least his lane up until then will be relatively straightforward, and he's got all this magic damage to help counteract the fact that OD has really high armor.
Down bottom, nice little setup there from Solo. He's able to slow down so bad, allow Slice to chase and get the kill. Same time up top, Malik. He's into the trees. No point in dissimulate yet, of course, so they're able to slowly run him down. Zayat's trying to do his best to keep him safe, but he cannot keep Malik alive, as both teams getting a kill for the carry here in the laning stage.
I guess in some ways I like it better. Troll Warlord, who he killed the offlane support, and also Void Spirit, because he's not a typical offlaner, is going to struggle a little bit more to stay here if Troll gets like 1 or 2. Gotta be careful for him. Pocha classically just has great positioning, so I don't really see him going into any.
No, for sure, and he's still got a lot of regen to pop through. 2 mangoes and pretty much a full stick, so the spam's going to continue to come out from Miposhka. And as we can see on the CS, Malik definitely suffering the most right now. The bottom of the CS on the cause.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Beat down bottom so bad. Well, look to set up onto Solo. The arrow, so the spear comes in, of course, from Collapse. Solo trying to stand his ground, but battery assault damage, it's enough. Crystallize, can he get some kills in return? Collapse trying to get out of it around the trees, but Crystallize will find it. So another kill here for the Morph, as the team's happy to brawl down here. But can't help but feel that Crystallize, he's going to be the happiest right now. I mean, 3 minutes in and already having 2 kills on the safe lane Morphling.
Yeah, he's and unlike last game, he's gone for a fast Wraith ban, and now there is a slightly different build than we saw when B-Tune playing Morphling last game. But this is going to give him nice mobility, and basically he's going to be able to offset the movement advantage that Clockwork has, and therefore be able to like punish more. He'll be a little bit more lane independent. Use these. Lane still looks dead even.
My purpose fulfilled.
Yeah, Zayas
on both sides.
Did come in to typically get the Courier Snipe, but prepared for it, and likewise for the move down to Tokyo. So very much ready for Rubik to try and make that sweep in. As he'll head back up towards top here to the Malik's going to be safe and no dives occur between Poshka and Yatoro. And sort of...
Malik, went for the fast earn. I'm a little like, it's obviously great on offlane heroes most of the time, but if you're not getting kills with it when you buy it this early,
sure,
it can be a bit of a struggle. So unless they get a snag here, Malik's hard.
Yeah, as you said, definitely going to see if they can try and get Miposhka, but already Malik, he's the one getting gone on. Yatoro and Miposhka running him down. Has now got the point into Stimulate. Actually going to go back in aggressively over towards Miposhka, but Yatoro's able to slow him down once more. Malik pops the pulse. Miposhka trying to get into the trees. Can he keep himself hidden? Malik and Zayas, they're hunting for him. Zayas, he's going to get frozen. Miposhka's still alive. Finally goes down. Malik does manage to grab him there with the Remnant. So we'll get him those charges. Yeah.
So necessary. 800 HP now. Full heal out of it. Or he'll save 1 here. Another very wise for Toro to rotate over and grab that.
That bottom collapse. Oh, he's able to take Crystallize's Courier. May lose his life for it though. As he's trying to juke. Crystallize actually off the mark with the waveform, but Solo, another slow comes into play. It's another kill for this Morph. You know, Crystallize 3 kills now in the safe lane.
He's super happy. Morbid Mass finished halfway to Treads. Yeah, he's good luck laning against him for the rest of this lane. Be rough here. So Solo's really picking the Enchantress. It's definitely paying off here. It's justifying all of these Morph kills, and even if they have some team fight issues in the mid game, Morphling's far enough ahead.
I mean, and when it comes to those sort of fights in the mid game, who do you think Crystallize is going to look to morph into the most? Like what sort of OP morphing can there be this game?
Mars Spear is excellent. Mars combo is generally good. Switching into OD would be nice. Can always protect himself or other people with the mana. Fight top though.
And Malik again getting gone up, but this time Aegon's there with the backup. Straight away blows up Yatoro, turns over towards Miposhka. A smooth move from Aegon with that haste rune. Coming straight into the top and well needed as well for NoTechies, as they were starting to suffer and a few times losing some lives. Aegon able to keep the trade in their favor.
Perfect rotation. Control's just a little too weak to decrep, as we talked about. Yeah, he can get eggs later, but right now, very vulnerable to Pugna offered. Haste in the perfect with that kill.
See it. The way the mid lanes continue to go down, it's just been continued free farm between the two of them. 40 for 4, 38 for 9. Both heroes getting equally the same amount out of the lane, and Toronto Tokyo, he's going to have that hammer done. So we'll see what sort of setups he can get going, see what movements they have coming over, if they want to try and the pressure onto Aegon, or if Toronto Tokyo wants to try and make moves onto the carry.
Yeah, this is a pretty OD as a hero, is that the moment you make Meteor Hammer, you definitely have killed heroes. And Pugna is definitely also vulnerable. You give yourself a mana increase. He's got a huge percentage of mana, which is good and bad, right? Gives more int or more mana to OD, but Pugna's total mana pool is also really high, so the sanity's eclipsed. But if they get a rotation here, get a Pugna kill, that could be really big. This could force Pugna to right now to try to avoid this timing window, or to wait until he's got somebody to like sit. The hardest counter to this OD Meteor Hammer build is after he banishes somebody and starts channeling, you interrupt the Meteor Hammer, and then OD starts feeling really bad as a hero. Sit Rubik behind the Pugna when they go for this kill. They could absolutely turn that around, decrep OD and kill. They've got some options, but Urgon just has to be careful not to feed away a death here. OD should start to fall off a little bit.
Let's see who's the first to sort of make that move here. Top lane. Malik, how we doing on levels? He has hit the 6, so he's got a lot of damage output here with the burst of the Astral Steps. Remnant down. Naposhka will be found here. At the same time, though, Yatoro getting the root up. Malik still with the step ready to jump back out to save the way. Sure that they keep that pressure on his 2-1-2, getting some good kills now. And of course, keeping those earn charges up, so increasing his potential to make those moves and have that additional damage.
This is maybe one of the nicest things about offlane Void is that you can easily blow 2 Astral Steps every time for a kill because it's less of like you need to stay alive, stay vulnerable in the mid. So that pick off and now his recovery from the rough looking first couple minutes.
Solo and Zayat. Let's see if they can catch Yatoro. Not gonna try and lead in, but underneath the tower, far for them to dive any further. They're not too sure of what backup there may be on the way. Towards the mid, Toronto Tokyo was trying for the setup there. The Astral, but couldn't quite get in range as Ergon plays it smart, keeps his distance.
Otherwise, clock here too. Channeling life drain is just, but maybe he can hammer beam used. Maybe Pugna will go forward and they can.
He's keeping it safe, Ergon, playing just on the edge of that cast range. Toronto Tokyo can't quite grab him. And now he's even got backup Malik also nearby in case anything was to kick off around the mid lane, but doesn't look to be the case. Yeah, so bad. Realizing he cannot quite get in there, he's going to look to turn his efforts elsewhere. Top, Solo, he's just come in. He knows Yatoro's trying to back up and find some safe farm in the jungle. Him and Malik making sure that Yatoro doesn't get that sort of space at all. And yeah, as soon as pressure's in, Yatoro, he's just going to move himself to the other side of the map.
Very good that they're playing in this area. So playing in the enemy jungle like this gives you really good flexibility. You can gank the safe lane, you can gank the mid lane. So it's going to force OD to play just a little safe, maybe spend a little bit more time jungling than he'd like. And again, if he doesn't get any of these kills, the hero ends up feeling okay, but not as incredible as other top meta heroes. So if he's spending time jungling, maybe OD doesn't feel.
Malik, he's looking for the posture, and he's found him. Extra firepower here from Crystallize. Crystallize continues to rack up the kills. 10 minutes in, dominating. And starting to put some heavy pressure onto the tier 1 tower top. At the same time, of course, bottom lane, Toro and Collapse. They're also trying for the tier 1 as well themselves. We'll see if either team wants to come in for any sort of defense. It looks like Spirit won't do anything about the top tower at all. And it looks like on the other side, NoTechies the same to be said. Mid lane, that's where NoTechies is going to make the aggressive move, though, straight in on Toronto Tokyo. And of course, a lot of magical burst here between these 3 heroes to get the kill.
Yeah, this pivot for the last pick here on NoTechies has really paid off. Grabbing the Pugna mid gives them a decent matchup. Void Spirit looks a little bit rough the first couple levels, but Malik's playing great.
Yeah, and immediately onto So Bad as well. So they've got the setup, that extra burst, perfectly timed, coming out there of the stolen Astral. As they're looking pretty hot so far. 11 minutes in, NoTechies taking the mid-tier 1 tower as well. Of course, that all-important tower.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, especially because, again, Oat's pressurable here. This gives them more avenues. Initiate and go find great vision. Enchantress creeps and stuff like that, so if they just constantly keep an eye on their opponents, they should be able to outmaneuver them. One thing that, despite NoTechies not winning a series, one thing they've done really good is invade. They're consistently organized and together. Solo's got them under control and puts them in the right place on the map. And with this advantage, Morphling Russian Fern Blade here can be one of the team's killers, and it's pretty good with a Pugna when they're affected by Decrep and they get E-bladed as well.
Yeah.
So if they don't get saved by OD, people are going to get blown up.
Yes, they are going to have a pretty extreme amount of burst, which is definitely going to lead to situations where if Yatoro does want to step up to the fight, he may have to be a little preemptive with the use of the battle chance. Otherwise, he's going to get 100 to 0s. And of course, the state at the moment, of course, Yatoro, he needs more time. He's trying to get his Battle Fury done before he even thinks about getting involved. And even then, probably want to get the second item done on top of it. So still a good amount of time here where NoTechies can really keep up the pace. And this morph's just going to be much more ready and able to fight and have so much more impact before the Troll's quite caught up in it, as in is at the same point to fight.
helped them take the early tier 1 tower bot, but now just opting to run between camps and kill neutrals. He knows what his game looks like here. It's not going to be able to lane too safely anymore to be able to jungle if possible, while NoTechies gets me to go for.
Yeah, for sure. There's NoTechies there just hunting across the map. 4 of them. And yeah, crystallize that first hurdle. It's pretty much complete, just 100 gold away from the Eagle Song. This is going to be a super quick E-Blade in a game, as we say, that this E-Blade is just going to carry so much value for the amount of damage that they'll be able to get down onto Team Spirit's heroes. Team Spirit, they're going to try and push this tier 1 top. Malik's going to come over. Looks like NoTechies want to try and see if they can hold this.
Morph is pretty hard here for Spirit. They go in.
Yeah, not so bad. Off the mark with a hook shot there. Won't quite be able to grab Malik. He's going to sort of leave himself behind it, trying to distract NoTechies from chasing for more. But NoTechies, they're going to be able to kill him and continue to chase on. TP out from the 2 of them, though, will keep them safe. No TP cancel here between Airgon and Solo. But still, good hold from NoTechies, keeping the tower up, getting a kill, and continuing to sort of force Spirit to play into their hand.
They didn't even look that much for this. Morphling shifted from, so he was already here. He just knows he's not very killable here, unless his opponents like get a blink on Mars, maybe like blink stun him before he starts morphing. But other than that, like Spirit's gonna have a really rough time play max greedy here, while his team is across the map doing some stuff.
Yeah, and when you sort of look at the lineup of Spirit, is it a lineup where it was expected for them to have a bit of a slower start? You sort of look at this mid OD, this offlane Mars, and you would kind of want to see more from them in this early stage of the game.
The core matchups just weren't very good in the end. Pugna versus Zodi kind of goes back and forth, so that among other things, they didn't really crush Void Spirit as hard as they could, and Chantress also really strong laning pro that already made them who had an kind of okay lane even better. So it's like, yeah, maybe you can expect these things. They're not that out of the realm of possibilities based. Words like ganking Pugna is certainly one of the things they wanted to do. They wanted to kill Pugna lots in the mid lane, but 5 minutes has passed since that moment, and Pugna hasn't died yet. He's 3-0-2 now. He's got a Force Staff, Arcane Boots, and a Veil of Discord. So he played super safe. Got Force Staff, and now their gank options on him are just not really there.
I mean, they'll find themselves a Rubik here, but Zayas was sent on a pretty wild mission to try and get the bounties. He knew the probability of him dying there was going to be very high, so not too much of a loss here for NoTechies.
I'll take that.
Behind slightly, 0-1 and 0. His net worth still good, but look at this threat. Like, it's not super safe to channel Meteor Hammer here. And now because Pugna is no longer killable outside of getting like Mars ultied, as long as it does not get like Blink Mars ultied, safe also.
We see with the scan up top, they know that Collapse is around here. See if Malik wants to try hunting into the trees, as Collapse does have a TP available, but yeah, Malik is going to find him. Ends up walking straight into him. The setup's there with the yours, and just look at that burst damage. Amped up by the Decrepify. He disappears within a second.
That's a lot of damage. Level 4 Dissimulate, earn damage, Resonant Pulse. Didn't even have to use Astral Step, just got a little lucky finding him in the trees, but they'd scanned him about 20 seconds early. He had nuked the wave, so they figured a nice grab for sure.
Dire's top tower.
See Toronto, Tokyo, of course, just queuing up the BKB. He needs it. These cores are going to get completely blown up. And with that magic immunity, and especially as 16 minutes in, we do have it, the completed E-Blade on Crystallized mid lane. A move to be made onto Zayas. Malik's going to be in with the backup, but Matt won't be able to save Zayas. Does turn aggressively onto Toronto, Tokyo. Malik takes him down on his own. He's ready to start forcing back the CM. TP out for the clock will save him, but the Yule's control for Malik, buying time for potential follow-up. Team Spirit, though, have also got backup inbound. Collapses around.
Oh man, this rougher necessity. Saw the exact circumstance of that last.
Oh yeah,
he gets a decrept. It wasn't a solo kill by Malik, but it was a decrept plus the normal damage of Void. It was more than enough to make his life. So he's gonna get BKBs. That can happen again, but like it doesn't accelerate OD being effective. Normally you go like Meteor Hammer into fast blink, that way you can start setting up this meteor. I don't think we've seen a single meteor hammer hit a hero yet. And that's gonna make the hero not feel good.
I think we haven't really seen a meteor hammer on a hero. We've not even seen really an arena either from Collapse. They just haven't found the chance to use it. They're going to smoke up and try and make something happen here. Coming in around the Roche pit. But Malik, he's already got the setup onto Collapse, and boom! Collapse is gone. The sanities will be dropped, but not really a significant amount of damage whatsoever. As NoTechies are fine, they'll just turn over towards Toronto. Tokyo, he's going to be dead as well. Sucked down by the life drain, but Poshka also going off. As this game, it looks pretty hard, Purge, for Team Spirit to do anything about this. As NoTechies, they're just getting far too far ahead.
Yeah, they braked. The Observer Board spotted everything that they wanted to do to approach, and killing Mars, that's by far the strongest they had on the Spirit side. The one thing kind of going okay is they still do have a Battle Fury Troll, but Worth does not compare to Pugna's and Morthland's, and Pugna's one of the best mid heroes in the game for accelerating things. It's like, good luck for towers against Blast.
Here we go. They might find Aegon this time round. Arena's dropped. They've caught him.
Works. And he used Decrep already on Troll. But his net worth is still stupidly high. He's got a Blink Dagger now. He'll be able to position better when he...
Seeing Crystallize, I mean, his farm just coming in so fast this game. Him and Aegon remaining in that top spot. BKB, it's about a Mithril Hammer away for him. And, well, of course, as we've talked about, you know, the BKB is very much essential for Spirit's lineup. Likewise for himself. He gets this BKB, and there's going to be very little ways that the Spirit can kill him unless they get a sort of perfect hook shot into the Troll being by his side and pummeling into him.
He's got Robo to amplify the magic damage that he does as well. Swap out for the ban. Robo wants to do as much magic damage as possible. Looking at the smoke for NoTechies. They want. So I should be able to take this tower by himself. Not common do it by yourself at this stage in the game, but they just know that he's got so much damage. Unlikely to die. They don't even need to be there, so they're going to try to get a kill mid while Collapse thinks they're busy.
We got quick setup and
God, every time.
Anyone they find is just evaporates. There is no chance whatsoever. I mean, you see 1,800 magical damage coming out in an instant. In literally less than a second there when amped up.
The power of the Veil Decrep. Before Veil got reduced a bit, it would basically increase all the magic damage you do by 2. You'd get 100% more magic damage. It's not quite as high right now, but all it takes is, you know, one other magic nuke. It doesn't have any magic resistance yet on Mars, so that's part of it, but really hard. Peggy's just out.
Certainly up. Tier 2 starting to be taken. As yeah, that's the second one they've found this game here. Very quick objectives being found. And yeah, Crystallized, that's the BKB complete. So he's going to be feeling very sort of free and able in these fights to go in however as he wishes, without any sort of worry of Team Spirit being able to turn and collapse onto it.
Tower gets pressured. Nether Ward. Got to deal with nukes. Pugna classically, actually, one of the hard counters due to Nether Ward Flexion. And a lot of mana to cast Arcane Orb. It's 20 current mana pool. Well, the more his mana continues to go up, the more damage he's dealing. That's why another reason it's so necessary. An item that just protects him a bit. And actually get him a...
Sure isn't necessarily gonna give them the power to kill these cores as Malik trying to set up onto the CM. Defensive Astral will buy some safety from Aposhka, but as soon as he's out, he's taken down.
Don't delude yourself.
The glimmer from Clockwork, but possible. Mars getting some farm on the other side of the map at least, but now that focus is gone from the mid lane, now he has to run away again. He can't even get into his own jungle knowing they're there, so wouldn't be surprised to see him just get out after this war. Terrible position. Spirit. Morphling this far ahead. About 2,000 net worth on Troll. Something at least. But Troll getting close to Ags. That's one good thing going 2,000 gold. Ability to remove Decrep, remove Blade, that kind of thing. Take fights. Still's going to be taking insane amounts of damage. No BKB anytime soon for. So, Dispel stuff. Have to be fast on his battle trance.
And I think one of the things that he's definitely going to have to worry about the most, and something that's almost certainly going to come to play each of these fights, is if Zayats is able to just grab an Astral, right? But that's going to be one of the strongest ways to deal with the Troll, because he can't dispel that once he's in the Astral imprisonment.
And another thing that's going to make Troll ulti look bad, Void Spirit just finished it.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, he's going to have 2 silences that if he uses early enough, doesn't matter if you spin, you can't. You just got to be silenced, possibly burst. Back Troll roaming over. Clock Innocent, good. Unless he gets spotted. Still hard though. They go on.
They're gonna get the jump on Malik. Can they get the Spirit? Yes, they can. Straight down. He comes into the combo. Malik down. They'll see if they can maybe catch something else. So bad. Scouting forward with the Rocket Flare. No hook shot though for 50. Solo. He's gonna try the Shadow Amulet into the trees. They've got him though. Straight in with the spear. The smoke pays off. Spirit able to sweep around and pick them off one by one there, the two of them. As NoTechies weren't quite prepared for them to come in from that angle. And we saw, Malik standing on the ground. I think he was almost prepared for the smoke, but collapsed just a little too quick with that Yule's initiation and catches Malik off guard.
Yep, maybe didn't anticipate the time of his blink. Like Mark's at a rough laning stage, but now his network looks okay.
Man, he's going to find step onto another collapse as he catches Zayats. And again, Zayats, he also, without any team around by his side. But one times the neutral creep there, gets pushed in by the cogs. And there's a tip over to So Bad there from Collapse, at least getting to see the funny side of it.
That also would have been Odie's first kill of the game as well, but it got stolen. So, yeah. I mean, either way, Collapse definitely doing a lot to get his team back into this match. The fact that he didn't die too many times on stage, got his Yules, got his Blink Dagger, and that's what allowed them to chance to kill. No matter anything else, without having both Yules and Blink, I don't think there's a way Void Spirit doesn't last engage.
Radiant's middle tower is
They get a kill on the map, but it wasn't necessarily against the still 6-0. But at least their net worth is semi-comparable on the Spirit side. This gives them hope that they can path if they keep getting these pickoffs. Even if OD might not be the best carry this game, the best mid hero this, eventually he's going to have really powerful items. Blink, stick, that kind of thing. Just got to keep buying time, get pickoffs here and there.
NoTechies trying to do their best to really limit the amount of the map that Spirit feels strong in. I've seen Spirit do a good job of dewarding their half of the map though. Right now, pretty much all the NoTechies ops have been removed off their half. Still, the map also looking quite dark for themselves as they also haven't quite managed to get vision out here.
Radiant are scanning.
Cleared, NoTechies is pretty comfortable. It's likely just come back up before they want to force any major engagements, especially with the crucial items that Spirit has right now. Cannot be too throwing the next fight. You're going to see a lot of map. See a fight though.
Oh, Yatoro! Oh my goodness, he's gone! The first to walk in and the first to quickly get sent back. So bad he's going to try and TP out. He's not making it away. And Malik, he's not even done. He's continuing to chase. He's got the setup on him. And Poshka stolen hook shot from Zayat as he flies straight in. And Spirit getting heavily punished for what I guess was just sort of an awkward way for them to try and lead themselves out of the base there, having the Troll on the front lines.
I think NoTechies took the gas off for so long that Team Spirit got a little too stagnant with realizing how much threat there is on. In that case, it was an instant stun and an E-Blade combo, and just all it took was that one stun, that one Rubik lift from Zyek, and that's a dead carry. Everybody else tried to run for it, but they were still too close. And now they get Roche on top of that. It's a great couple of minutes.
Yeah. Just continued clean play from them here. Very, very solid. And in a matchup where, you know, this is definitely one of the tougher teams in the league, expected at least, you know, Spirit being one of the invited sides. NoTechies so far this game making very, very, very solid work of it. As we see there again, yeah, Yatoro tries to get the lead in, but as you say, as soon as he's caught out by one disable, he just gets taken 100-0 so quickly. What the move is going to be now from Team Spirit as they continue to fall further and further behind. Crystallize with that Aegis and that completed Skadi. Level 20 on him as well, keeping himself a solid 2 levels ahead of anything over on the side of Spirit's team.
Slow against ranged heroes is incredible. It's really tough to play against this. He's got BKB. So if he gets on top of OD, outside of like OD banishing himself, it doesn't matter if your BKB explodes. So a huge timing window. Fight viability. Butterfly afterwards would be the thing. It's a perfect time against OD. He can't X. Troll is gonna have issues with it as well. So just being ahead on Morphling here, get ground 2. He got the Titans.
He did. I mean, that's, as you saw, that but pretty much works out as like an instant like plus 40 damage at least, right, with the percentages in play. And of course, all the other benefits are insane.
Man, he's so confident. He's just going to come hit a tier 3 when this team's nowhere close. He...
Oh, down bottom. So bad. He's found the catch onto Zayat. Let's see if they're able to get this. They are. They drop the sanities down onto him. Looking now over towards Malik, but Malik's got backups. Crystallize and Solo head across. Toronto Tokyo is going to put the BKB, but at this moment in time, the right click should Crystallize it too much. Toronto Tokyo is trying to run, but Crystallize just takes him out with the right clicks. Back over in the river, Yatoro is trying to fight up, but the burst is too strong. Triple kill for Crystallize. A Spirit, they just cannot fight this.
I was so pathetic watching like OD try to get away from the Scotty, dude. 50% movement speed slow against range heroes. Like the BKB, he's crawling away the whole time. And that one tree bottom seconds, but you need a lot more trees than just get out of that. What a completely decisive fight.
I mean, it's going to cost them at least one set of rags here, maybe even more, as they've got the catch on him at Poshka underneath the tier 4s. They try and save himself with the glimmer. It's just too much damage. There's nothing that they can do to protect one another from this aggression from NoTechies. Mibrag's taken straight up towards the top. No buyback on Yatoro or Meposhka. Toronto Tokyo back in for the defense, but as we've seen, it's just been such a rough game from him. 1-4-1. He's just not been able to achieve much at all on this mid OD this game.
I think this game is a perfect representation of how to beat OD. You can't give him a really good matchup, possible. You can't let him get these like hammer kills that are very viable with once the hammer's. And if you avoid that, then the game is going to be pretty straightforward in terms of that your like other carry matchup does well. And it's the early game. Don't let him get kills. It's going to look like a really mediocre mid hero.
It's certainly looking like that this game. As just in comparison, NoTechies cores, you know, Crystallize still yet to have died. 11-0-3, flawless play from him, and even Airgun. He's only died that once when, you know, you could have sort of felt it when he got caught out down bottom. Was feeling pretty relaxed because of the state of the game. Other than that, 7-1-11 mid lane. Looking for the jump in onto Solo. Get the spear connection, but the backups coming in from the rest of NoTechies. They're trying their best to at least kill the Enchantress. Will be able to burst through him with the rebuke. Jump forward from Malik with a dissimulate. Burst down so bad. Solo buying back. He's ready to just finish this off with the rest of Team Toronto Tokyo, having to use the BKB to just run away.
Bottom ice. BKB's forced a little bit on both sides. Pugna doesn't have his, but they still got the Aegis, so time to go high ground.
Think there'll be anything holding NoTechies back here. Yeah, as you say, this is just, yeah, the dream timings here for Crystallize. He is so fat right now.
their best chance to get something good is they're gonna spawn Mars for sure. All right, yeah, now they can.
Oh, yeah, Zayat, he's able to find him, leads him with the telekinesis straight down underneath the remnant. Malik jumps across, keeping the silence upon them all. Yatoro having to back right out as he's burst down to pretty much his death. The arena's going to be dropped, but there's no follow-up. Crystallize in position, waiting for Collapse to come out of the Astros. They kill him off. Malik diving up into the base. There'll be a buyback from Collapse, but he'll have no arena for this hold now. Sanity's dropped down, but it isn't enough damage to get any of these kills. Malik able to simply jump away. A Spirit just cannot punish any of them here. Even with the 2 buybacks coming into play, they get nothing.
I think that Aegis goes away, but Crystallize actually really needed mana. Get a grab here.
Dire's bottom tower.
Malik, it's going to happen though as soon as he comes out of it. Remnant down, so bad, dragged down into the clutches of Crystallize. As Yatoro, it's just so much. Again, Toronto Tokyo trying to do his best, offers some moment of safety here with the Astro. Jumps in place of the Eve Remnant to try and protect the troll, but Yatoro still ends up going down. Toronto Tokyo is going to put the BKB, but Crystallize, he's got the physical to take him out. GG is called. 31-10, 33 minutes in, 24K lead. NoTechies, they absolutely crushed Team Spirit here.
This is the best game they've far, I think. They just look like a really solid team. They basically got what they wanted out of the draft. They played around the threats on the map very well. They made all mistakes here and there, small.
We saw amazing performance from NoTechies in the for the first time in the upper division of the DPC League for CIS. Can they do it again, though? They are up against Team Spirit here in a best of 3. We're heading to the draft of Game 2, and I am sure that Team Spirit is going to do whatever it takes to force out that third game, because we heard it from them as well. This is a series that is as about to be must win as it comes, because you gotta be in the top 3. Actually, you gotta be in the top 2 if you want to make it to the major. We're joined by Brian on the big screen. We have Kyle, we have Tigov, and we're in the draft for this second game. And already Team Spirit is opening with something much more conventional than they did in their first game.
The Knicks then immediately coddle anyway by NoTechies. So very brave. I don't think the Knicks is really as much of a counter as it used to be. You don't typically see coddles play the GH way. You know, hiding amongst the trees, spamming out waves. More of a support bot.
Yeah, like Solo loves this hero. I think that's the key thing. And when it's in that 5, you're playing for that TP, you're playing for that kind of global pressure and being very in their face, and it's less about the kind of carapace like you mentioned. And when they pick up an instant Monkey King and they have last pick, they can easily put the Monkey mid, or you have a very potent Kotl plus Monkey lane, because the Monkey just starts putting points in his tree dance and can start jumping onto the quick waves and spamming it out with the Kotl.
Remaining. Dire team ban.
What do you reckon of these openings, Brian? What do you think?
I just love Keeper of the Light. I think it makes any game plan way easier to execute. All those early map movements we saw last game from Solo, I think, are even more potent when you can bring in heroes that normally lack mobility on the map. It makes it so that there's towers you would normally not want to defend because you'd have to TP 2 or 3 heroes in. But one of them who gets recalled in, you TP, you defend the tower, maybe a fight ends up not happening, that guy can just TP away immediately. And if he really needs to, he can just get recalled again. We've seen that before. So I really like that with heroes like Monkey King, because he's willing to fight, but he doesn't necessarily want to fight super early on. And any hero that fits that description just loves to have that option where they don't have to adjust their farming patterns in order to fight, but they still can be a part of the game anyways.
Yep, he's like a bar bouncer. He's always ready. He'll avoid conflict, but when necessary, we'll throw down.
That's actually pretty damn accurate.
It's like Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick. Exactly what Monkey King does.
10 seconds remaining.
He is actually fairly soft-spoken.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
This is true. All right, so we got a couple bans coming out. We got the Bristleback, Rubik, and Timbersaw removed on the side of Team Spirit. And we have the Bat Rider, Phoenix, and something else removed on the side of NoTechies. And to be honest, the NoTechies bans are like standard. Viper there as well, which obviously comes after the Rubik ban, I would imagine.
It's strange that they banned Viper after seeing Bristle and Timber banned out. So you got to figure Spirit was already getting...
It's simply about the strong lanes. I think NoTechies, they might be kind of subscribing to the idea that this is going to be their safe lane, and they are just covering themselves with 3 bans that will be annoying to play into. Batrider against Monkey King, of course, Batrider loves playing into that, of course. Firefly around. Phoenix and Viper are just very strong laners, so especially when you have this Nyx, it could easily be some core Phoenix plus Nyx, core Viper.
I'm looking at Veno for them. I think Veno's probably the 4th hero against Monkey King that's super obnoxious. Pretty much any ranged DPSer that can constantly cancel your tree dance and basically threaten to kill you without ever going on you, because the Monkey King Ags, the Monkey King Ultimate, the entire hero is predicated on making you commit onto him, and any hero that doesn't have to is his hardest counter.
Yeah, I mean, that is, thing is, it's somewhat region locked to NA, it feels. Like, I was watching Division 2 yesterday in Arkosh. They played Venomancer against...
Don't get too carried away, though, Kyle, though. Like, sure, Arkosh might like it, but in Europe as well, they also do pick it up on Hellbear Smashers, for example.
That's
like
true.
To dabble in the Venomancers when needed. So I can see where it does lie in its strength.
Gee, I wonder if you're a fan of... Do you like that?
I do like the Venomancer. I think it's a very fun hero.
What do we think about Morana? 3rd pick, high prio.
If they pick like a fall setup stun with it, you know, like a Sand King would come to mind here.
Mars, okay.
Mars works too. Sand King and Mars are pretty much the 2 prime candidates in the offlane for point-click stuns that you can follow up with the arrow. The thing about Morana for these 2 heroes is usually Mars and Sand King don't have that enough damage to represent solo kill potential, but since Morana usually plays off map, even if Morana's not with the Mars, whoever's laning its Mars will often have to play a lot more careful because anytime the Mirana happens to be there, that extra 4-second arrow will be enough to bring most heroes down.
The thing here, though, the response from Team Spirit, they go for one of the few position 5s that has the attack range, that has the early skill set to play into Mirana, because you have the Thunderstrike as well. So they have a laning answer to this Mirana, but Team Spirit kind of looking at what NoTechies did right in that previous game, like, you know what, let's just kind of shuffle up a couple heroes, but we'll try and play the same game plan that you did in game 1.
Well, it's what Navi did too. This Morph hero just seemed like it slipped out of people's minds for a little bit, but especially when you look at all the heroes getting banned out early phase nowadays, Beastmaster, Puck, Bat Rider, they're almost never in the game. That just increases Morph's value. And it's such a, I don't want to say a simple win condition, but you always feel good with a Morph on your team. The timings make a lot of sense. They're easy to play around. You're a brutal hero to lane against if you get any sort of advantage. And against Mars Mirana, you're going to have like a 20 base damage advantage. You're going to feel just fine. Just don't get stunned.
Just don't
Just
get
that easy. Don't get speared into Arid.
I would love for NoTechies' last hero to fit the way they played last game, where whatever hero this is, Monkey King wants to be played around, Mars wants to be played around. Let's just pick a hero that kind of does its own thing. So it allows these supports to be able to either call them to the fight, Coddle can stay in his own safe lane, pushing out the creep waves, and Mirana can roam to where she pleases. I just think as long as they pick a hero with like that, they should have no problem dealing with the Morph, at least not as much of a problem as Team Spirit had in the first game.
You kind of have like 2 options, and like the idea I'm thinking is like a Lina or a DK type idea. Of course, the Nyx into Lina feels kind of awkward, but the idea is you have that instant stun into blow up potential and someone to play around, and Lina easily can itemize to be that hero play behind the Mars, and then DK, that instant blinks Dragon Tail onto the Morph lane will be very helpful.
Whenever you have a Mirana, it's nice to have a couple lanes you could play around. I'm a big DK fan. I am shocked we didn't see it picked up.
Yeah, it's multiple lanes as well.
Yeah. And I just think the itemization's like I've played a DK where you get this you need like some sort of scaling item like a Midas or Maelstrom or whatever, but you get a Mage Slayer and you get a Heart and you're unkillable. Like, it is just absolutely absurd how much damage you can stand. I'm a little concerned about Spirit's damage output. The support duo we saw again in that Navi series, so nothing really new here. Low damage, but you have such great kill potential. You're going to rotate around the map. If you have map control, it's so easy to abuse it, but I think that the Spirit lineup is kind of predicated on being ahead. They don't have a natural frontliner just yet. NoTechies have absurd team fight with the Mars and the Monkey King. Very good Roche control, so I hope their last pick is just something that controls tempo. Still want to see Shadow Fiend. I don't know if we'll ever see Shadow Fiend, but one day.
If you mention it enough, like, eventually you're gonna be right.
That's the thing, right? You don't watch every moment in a kind of clip or a highlight, right, or a stream. So when Kyle says it 1,000 times, that one person will maybe catch it that one time, and then
wow,
exactly.
Yeah, Kyle was right. It happens sometimes, and I was there. We got Grimstroke banned out by NoTechies. I don't know if we've seen Toronto Tokyo play that yet, but I would imagine. I guess this is a nod to the off-lane Grimstroke we saw earlier this week against the Monkey. That was absolutely, and actually it was Collapse that played that as well. That was absolutely
so
dominant. Yeah,
like you just kill the Monkey King over and over, and that's life. Especially with a Coddle as his potential lane partner. Yeah, Grimstroke Nyx, they're just gonna run at the Monkey King and he dies.
Yeah, and
the dream against monkeys to just fire away from long range, and Grimstroke does that well. Same with Pugna.
All right, so what is Collapse going to play this game? What is left in for him?
Venomancer. It's actually...
I still believe it's very good.
It's so good against Coddle and Monkey King. Like, the NoTechies lineup needs vision, right? If you just have a sentry down with a ward on a high ground, suddenly the Mirana invis is neutered, the Mars can't blink forwards, T-Gub's dancing.
Pangolier, that's what I'm just going to throw out a cheeky little Pango before we move on. Just get some fight, get that kind of anti-arena hero that can kind of trade off in the team fight and just disarm, annoys Monkey King a bit. So yeah,
Death Prophet.
I like Pangolier a lot more. It's actually super hard to play Mars against Pangolier. I'll vouch for that one. That matchup is super obnoxious.
And I'm just trying to think about Team Spirit. They kind of want to have some maybe soft flex going into that last pick from NoTechies, and they go, okay, let's go for a Storm.
Wow.
All right, so Void Spirit off lane, go for a Storm.
Into Monkey King, that's very ambitious.
Well, they want to set a high tempo this game then.
There is no save on NoTechies. Like, they will In a fight, whoever gets jumped will be dying. Like the Coddle cannot do anything.
They're still last pick.
But
Who knows?
it's such an annoying trio core to play against. You know, they all have their own escape mechanisms. So Mars Arena actually just isn't effective. They have two supports that, they might feed a little bit, but they're always going to be able to find return kills if their cores are nearby.
They could still put Mars mid. We've seen Aragon play it multiple times, and they could still go for an offlane OD and therefore have a save.
No OD.
I would love the Death Prophet myself against Storm. I think
me too.
Their biggest weakness on Team Spirit right now is absolutely zero D push. And I don't actually know how else NoTechies can capitalize on this draft.
That's a really good point. The silence is so good too.
Even I think DP or DK still kind of rise up.
Yeah, that archetype, something that allows you to capitalize on your mid-game advantage. And again, silence is really nice. You want Monkey King, in theory, to have another hero that's dealing building damage so that your Wukongs and your positioning can protect them. Something else has to frontline. They might Medusa or something, but I'm not a huge fan. Oh, even better.
Okay.
2-0. Wrap it up. That's Aragon. This man has like 1,000 Meepo games. He is nigh uncountered. He has whatever that set is. It's Bristleback Incognito. Wow. What a pick.
All right, Brian, up to you. Who's got to take this one then? Is the Meepo
I
picking
guess
up?
I'm going to leave the analysis up to Kyle because he's probably the one with the most experience of losing to Meepo.
Oh, goddamn. Brian, I swear if you were here right
I appreciate
You
that,
can-
Brian. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you at the end of the game. Kyle, yes, as the resident expert.
you can't kill the Meepo. You're gonna need to play near flawlessly. The trouble is like we just said, all these three cores, they have escape mechanisms. The two supports are a bit squishy. Meepo loves playing against heroes that net owns. They're gonna need BKBs and the damage, but Meepo is still, I think, one of the most broken heroes in Dota 2. I know Aragon can play the hell out of it. They've got a really nice setup around it, bunch of team fight. I think that this is the pick as long as he doesn't feed really, really hard.
Just want to quickly do one fact check. He said he had 1,000 Meepo games. I checked his Dobuff. He's got 51. That's not that close to 1,000.
This is his esports profile.
No, it's his pub profile.
Okay, you think he has 800 total games of Dota 2 played?
I'm just saying. Do you think in the last 5 months he's played 950
credit
games?
to you, Aragon.
Has he played 950? No, anyways, no. I like the idea of the Meepo. I think there is answers to it where you have that kind of the Storm Jump plus eventual Morphling.
51 out of 800.
All right,
That's
guys.
like
Guys, thank you very much for your contribution. How is Aragon going to play this Meepo? Is he going to pop off? Is it going to work? We're finding out with OD Pixel and Purge.
Yeah, let's find out indeed here. Game 2 of NoTechies versus Spirit. Purge, how deadly is this Meepo pick here for Team Spirit? Are they going to be pretty terrified by it?
I mean, basically the panelists pointed out Mars has to play against all these guys that can jump out of his ulti because they have mobility tools. Stuff that nets the roots. So hypothetically, that would mean that because there's 3 mobile heroes, Techies is perfect, or the Meepo is perfect. So if it can work, Meepo's in a weird place right now. He's not played much at all. I haven't even been in a pub game with or against the Meepo in what feels like months now. So I'm a little unsure. Maybe he's got something special figured out. Maybe he's got a new build. Maybe it's just the perfect Meepo game. He's be able to roll with it. But hopefully he's level 2 Meepo, 20 Meepo, so he's got some experience under the hero.
Yeah, that's true. There's definitely a fair few games underneath his belt. I saw on the, of course, they were talking about his pub win rate, his win rate in pro games. He's had 21 games in officials, and with a 62% win rate on Meepo. So definitely a respectable win rate to have there. And because in this game, down the line, if it gets to the point where this Meepo is getting pretty out of control, Team Spirit, their lineup, how well do their heroes deal with a Meepo?
I mean, Meepo's main benefit is that you are an accelerator. This is really bad in Dire Tide, right? So you're supposed to get ahead of everybody else and use that huge advantage in a really abusive way, basically. But if you're playing even other people, aka if it's in a really late game scenario and Meepo has about as much farm as some of the other cores, he's not going to feel very good. But if you can get ahead and pressure effectively, that's how you make Meepo feel good. The biggest thing against him right now is that it takes a long time to get divided. We stand 4 right now on Meepo, so you don't get to accelerate quite as fast as you used to be able to. So as long as Storm doesn't crush it mid and Meepo gets a little bit ahead and gets some really smart ganks off, then he can absolutely carry this game with the matchup.
All right, look at sort of elsewhere on these side lanes. You know, this draft sort of outside of the Meepo. Anything that you feel is going to be really strong this game?
Well, the Monkey King matchup against Melee Heroes is always fantastic if you can get that set up, but the downside is that you're paired with Coddle, so you're not necessarily going to be able to fight to the death to get lifesteal necessarily. It's more like if they go on you, they're going to get Coddle blasted, and maybe that'll be enough kind of a thing. So maybe they can pressure Monkey pretty well in this dual offlane with Void Spirit. Have a lot of faith in Void Spirit offlane after seeing last game, obviously different. And then on the opposite side of the map, we could see Mars up against a Morph. Went pretty good for the Morphling in the last match. But Malik with the interesting item build starting with Orb of Venom, which I kind of like. Basically allows him to run down the Morphling constantly at level 1 and lower his HP and force him to use more regen, and therefore Morphling's damage will go down, and then he should be able to get more last hits. So the pressure relationship against Morphling is really important and intricate. Important that you keep the pressure up on him. I don't know if spear into arrow combo is going to be that realistic against Morphling, but it'll certainly be easier with Orb of Venom and once Mars hits 2. Maybe they'll be able to pressure the Morphling a lot and Pochka won't be able to offset it.
Yeah, it's true. See if they do find that onto Yatoro. Go on. I mean, and overall as well, you know, for Yatoro on the Morph, as you said, we saw last game, of course, NoTechies. Crystallizer's Morph had an incredible game. Is this game going to be tricky for Yatoro? Much that he's got to be aware of?
I mean, his matchups are okay. He doesn't have to worry too much about Chainstone, for example. There aren't really any obvious Orchid heroes, so Morphling seems just like a fairly strong carry here in terms of the matchups. And if he has a good laning stage, obviously things get completely out of control. So Morphling, in a way, is sort of like your cheese sort of like lane win. It's like, let's say, Ursa in past patches, where it's like, oh, well, you just crush the lane, so they have to leave kind of a thing. If Morphling has a good early game, that's kind of what happens with this pitch advantage, and it just gives you such lane control from a carry position. Ooh, maybe kill him a push here. He doesn't have arrow. But yeah, so basically, if Morphling has a good laning stage, he can just completely dominate the offlaners by himself, and then it just gives you a lot of resources, very similar to what Brian pointed out, Weatherman.
Down bottom, we'll see how much of a good time Crystallizer is going to be able to have against these two melee heroes. Collapse is so bad. Whilst both being melee, they've still got pretty good burst potential between the two of them. Top, Yatoro. Have they got enough damage to offdo the shifting they have? Because that'll be the first blood there. The two of them are able to just right-click him out of the lane there at this stage. Of course, the attribute shift just not high enough level to shift him into the strength quick enough.
I caught the start of that one. That one was a blind arrow, basically. He landed the arrow as Morphling retreated, and they followed up on it, but he had missed his initial one in the lane, but basically they used God's Rebuke to apply the slow from God's Rebuke and the Orb of Venom, and then they tried to land arrow afterwards. In that circumstance, it was arrow into the other follow-up, but Morphling's real slow, 280 movement speed, so the fact that he went for Adeptus Strike and not Waveform maybe cost him his life there, but maybe he thought he would get more last hits this way.
Ways. Certainly going to have to be careful. They can't afford for them all to die early in the laning stage. So quite a different showing from Crystallized last game. Didn't die at all on his morph. Game 1 of this series. Seeing lane, yeah, Toronto, Tokyo, slightly with the CS, but Airgon hasn't had any problems. Hitting the level 4, getting his second Meepo out, and now, of course, begins that sort of period where we are going to see Meepo farm. You would imagine to be incredibly quickly. We'll see how well he's able to utilize the jungle.
Attacks are going to be a big aspect. I don't know why Morana team arrow a large creep. Did it.
It's hers now.
He killed the Alpha Wolf. Stacking's a really big deal, though. This is kind of cool. Ruin while stacking small camp. It's going to go to Storm, though. But the small camp, very easy for Meepo to clear here. Stacks are big if it transitions getting ahead. Next task, I'm just going to sap some of this experience. It's not really worth them using Impale to get one tiny little giant wolf. Morana back to the top lane again. The fact that he could get all this done without Mars being completely owned was pretty solid, and they've got Orb Corrosion on Mars too. Minus armor, not that incredible, but the generic stats of it are going to be really good against everybody other than Morph.
And sort of for Team Spirit, how would you like to see them play against the Meepo? Like, is their sort of intention going to be to hunt the Meepo aggressively, or are you going to look to just try and punish the rest of his team whilst he's still in this phase of focusing on his own game and not really quite able to help out side lanes?
Both of those are definitely options and you can do against Meepo. Killing stacks or limiting stacks can be really effective. Putting wards down where you expect the stacks to be, that way you can gank him later on, is really effective. Or, but I think generally just killing him is certainly a really good option. Voice in trouble bot though.
Oh yeah, with that.
Ooh. Got this, Millie.
Oh, only just getting out of that. Lots of I mean, Solo's still trying for it. And
Get him.
oh, he's done it. He's actually done it there, Solo. My goodness, very nicely done. I mean, he pretty much, I mean, he did it perfectly there. Solo with that complete chase from from his jungle over towards behind the tier 1.
Ward on the cliff, and that allowed him to spot where the Void Spirit was moving, made it a little bit easier. Look at the deep ward or not, but you can go here on Monkey King as well, so it's gonna be really nice. They can use this to zone out Void Spirit, deal some damage to him if they really want to. Maybe get a kill on Nyx's.
I've been wanting this.
Just seeing, you know, now with the solar bind ability that you can just have that easy setup to make sure that, you know, that they can run, but you're going to hit them with at least 2 illuminates on the way out.
Cool. Meepo rotating over to clear the super big stack, which in some ways is pretty nice, right? Like, he gets the gold on Meepo. He's splitting the experience like 2 or 3 ways, but in that moment, Assassin was a little zoned as well, so they pump a little EXP into the safe lane. Mirana takes the mid lane. In the meantime, this is another nice thing about having Meepo. He's so good at jungling that it makes it really easy for you to catch up and experience in your 4. And because Malik was doing pretty good against the Morphling in the laning stage, it doesn't hurt him to just dip the Mirana away briefly either. So once again, they're just kind of maximizing their gold game on the map.
See bottom, they're getting in aggressive with the move from Toronto Tokyo straight in onto Crystallize underneath the tower. Will manage to take in there. TP was being thought about, but not feeling that they could do anything to turn things around against the 3 of Spirit.
Catapult will die here most, but good rotation for sure. Limiting Monkey King's ability to impact is helpful if they can get those kills. Like Meepo queuing up super normal items, a couple Wraith Bands going Blade is what he can do with Power Treads, of course. More stacks to clear. If we check his net worth in comparison to everybody else, he's just a fraction of it, like a little hair ahead of Storm. So nothing really incredible just yet. Maybe he'll get a lot more done. I haven't seen real proof of Meepo being incredible just yet. Maybe it'll come. Flip spin.
Catch onto Zayats, but instantly out. He's leaping away. Toronto Tokyo's got the chase down. Drags him back with the Vortex and still plenty of mana to play with as they'll be able to chase and finish off the Mirana.
So I wasn't sure he was going to leap the 3rd time there. At that point, he seemed very dead. I mean, he makes Storm spend some mana, but Storm's got Clarity Potions. He just gets a regen now. I don't know. It might limit the Mirana. Not the biggest deal. It's only her step, but she's also a level 5, which is pretty solid, I gotta say.
Radiant's middle tower.
Gonna leave the tome most likely available.
Bottom, they're going to go on to Crystallize again. Toronto Tokyo continuing to keep this pressure onto the Monkey King with these movements down towards the bottom lane. And 2, yeah, very, very painful destiny now for Crystallizers. His game is definitely getting shaken up by Toronto Tokyo's movements.
And it doesn't even hurt Storm either. His regen is still going here. He got full duration out of that regen. So far, does Meepo feel as valuable as Storm? Absolutely not. But Storm has been playing a little bit better here.
So much more impact than he was able to do last game on. Completely different momentum with Spirit being a minute. All the question of if the Meepo is going to pay off. How much is Airgon going to be able to do when he steps out of that jungle inevitably in however minute time, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, when he has the E-Blade done over the 2 Wraith Bands. See how prepared and ready.
The other tough thing is just that Monkey not going to have his net worth is below the Morphlings even. And in the offlane, Malik's been playing great. He's got more net worth than Morph by about almost 500 gold. great position. He's 800 gold into his Blink Dagger, which will surely give them lots of great setups. But this is the solution against Monkey King. You just run at him and you kill him with enough heroes. You don't let him get these like little boundless kills in lane, and having to coddle back him up doesn't completely cover your bases there. And we're seeing that pay off when he gets these ganks.
And in terms of the Monkey King build, do you like this? Would this be sort of your go-to build on Monkey King nowadays, going for the Witchblade? We do see a lot of carries like to do this. You know, some like to go for the Witchblade, some like to go for the Maelstrom, or some like to go for the Ags first. I mean, what's sort of your favorite way to build the hero right now?
I don't like Witchblade very much on the I think it works well. One team that consistently does it is OG, but that's because it's an offlane morphling. So the benefit of Witchblade is that all of your clones, when you ulti, can apply Witchblade, but it doesn't stack like multiple instances. It just refreshes it. So like if you can get a perfect ulti down and somebody's in the middle of it and they have to run through all those Witchblades, it's basically like old. It's like Echo Saber based with your ulti, but more damage. But the problem is that like unless you have a really good setup, OG used it well with a Naga Siren, guarantee a song into Wukong's command, but they don't have maybe the best setup for that. So it feels a little weird to me. Now, they also might be looking at it as like, we have a Meepo, our timer is like crushing mid game. So I just want an item that's going to do damage, give me some survivability, and make me feel more effective. And Witchblade will do that much better than something like Ags would take too long to get, maybe, or maybe even Mouse. I don't know. You could maybe argue is still worth buying, but so I think that might be what they're aiming for here. Hit this timing, get some pressure in, have some damage output from. But generally, I'm not the biggest fan of them. It's a little bit of a trap if you don't have good setup, like they could do.
I mean, we'll see how much they are able to get achieved when they do have the combo of the arena, the ult, and Meepo probably being able to clean up target after target if they get the big catch. But as we see on Spirit's lineup, they do have the relatively elusive heroes. You know, Void Spirit, Storm Spirit, and Morphling, with multiple ways to really react if Malik does come in and try and set up with the arena. It's going to be rather tricky for NoTechies to catch multiple heroes unless you see some just sort of godly Earthbinds come out from Aegon's meat.
Yeah, and the fact that his net worth is not that far ahead just worries me a little bit right now. Storm is going to definitely run into problems once Blink comes out on Mars, and Malik playing Mars is doing great, so he's going to get it at a good time. He's going to be able to ideally counter-initiate some of these goes, but there's the 4 heroes other than Morphling on the Spirit side are all so good at getting kills. It's going to be hard to always be there for all of these fights. So it's going to have to carry his team real hard in the next couple minutes. Nobody else is able to do so.
My pet thanks you.
Back underway. So Tokyo's doing so far with his quick lead, and as you were seeing him himself, do you like, I was talking about the Witchblade on the Monkey King, Witchblade on the Storm. Do you think this works well with sort of the timings of the Storm, or do you not necessarily like how it disrupts maybe some of the other more traditional items that Storm likes to buy?
That's kind of cool. So I think the reason he's doing this is because of the Meepo, actually. Okay. Because Witchblade is an excellent item on paper for because they don't usually have very good agility gains, which means that they don't have very good armor, usually. And Storm normally doesn't care that much because he's got pretty high armor naturally. But against like really high physical damage sources, getting a little bit extra can be nice. Like against a Slardar or something, hypothetically just having free armor on Storm is really high. So maybe because of like the high physical damage coming from Meepo, coming from Mars, coming from wants him to have this like earlier tempo item. And also the other thing is that Orchid isn't very good against Meepo, right? Yeah. Silencing just one Meepo doesn't do very much. So I think he's trying to get like similar levels of an offense, but also that hybrid of armor is going to be cool. He does actually get caught later on. I think that's why he's altering his item build past the...
Sure, and he's definitely going to have a very quick timing on it if we can keep up this pace. Still holding us that top spot here, Toronto, Tokyo, thanks to those first few kills that he's been able to get involved in. Overall, though, NoTechies as a team crawling a little bit ahead in farm. 1k lead overall across the 5 of them. Spirit, seeing them get space for Yatora. I mean, obviously losing that top tower, but now meaning that the wave is in a much safer place for Yatora to farm without too much worries about being caught, at least until that blink is done, and then you can imagine that Malik is going to be ready to get very aggressive.
Radiant's middle
Bottom
tower
ult. They're
is under
gonna
attack.
try to defend their safe lane tower. One downside of the Void Spirit's not the best pusher here. Barely misses taking that therapist damage. And once they blast the wave, it's catapult v catapult, and here's an arrow as well. Yeah, they're doing a great job defending. Going in.
Yep, they're able to get themselves straight over towards Solo. They'll start things off with a quick and easy cold kill, and the static storm's down. He's trapped Aegon. Aegon in trouble. He's just going to be straight up dead. A big kill for Team Spirit as they are able to get in and find that Meepo. Aegon not able to get himself out of the area in time.
The power of Disruptor, man. Barely touched in almost all regions, but today just we're being reminded that it's a really strong hero, not just because of the fact that you can force these kills and up your tempo, but also because Static Storm is just such a multi-purpose strong ulti. Like, there's so many strong mobility cores. It feels like you have to have like mobility cores play right now. There's a Spirit in every single game, basically. Having the ability to just silence for 5 seconds is so powerful. It's those kinds of heroes. Way better than having like a 1.5 second stun like most.
No bad. Teasing out a few leaps here from Zayat. We're up to the 12-minute rune spawn. See if there's going to be anything nice and potent here for the Storm to get his hands on. Tokyo. Here's the invis. Might be able to allow him to get set up into the jungle. How are we seeing on Aegon's E-Blade timing? Still 1,800 gold to go. He has that completed.
Yeah, it's okay. He's got Ghost Scepters to protect himself a little, but there's just a lot of magic damage. It's not even like it gives him that much. So he's just going to continue hitting creeps. He's got a little bit of time till he gets his next bow too. Watching him die in that last fight kind of just filled me with the sense dread. Like, this is what we're going to see. Meepo's just going to AFK jungle for 15 minutes, and then he's going to somehow get things done. Like, E-Blade's the right way to play the hero, and Earthbind is good, but like, I don't know if I'm going to see what we need to see out of him this
Sure.
I'm a little bit apprehensive about it.
I mean, because do you sort of feel that in the games of the past where Meepo's been strong and felt strong, like 13 minutes in, for the Meepo to be having a good game, he would be already quite considerably ahead of everyone else in terms of farm?
And also you actually have threat of getting a kill mid too, but because you get your second Meepo at like level 4 or whatever, it comes so late that feels like getting a kill there is not realistic against heroes. So it's like, yeah, he's farming okay,
yeah,
but he's literally been AFK farming. That's the problem. You want to have like tempo aggressiveness. Just got 2 little Meepos that are level 10. They don't feel very strong. Like, what's he gonna do? Double poof somebody while his allies set up for him? Like, there's just so many better heroes that could do that.
Tower is under attack.
He's not ahead. That's not good. You got to be ahead, ideally, for Meepo to be good. And this is probably a good representation of why Meepo is not played very much, even if Earthbind's going to match up really well here. He does pick up his 3rd Meepo, though, at level 11, so his damage is increased.
Ships off. Actually, at the same time, mid-Toronto, Tokyo. He's going to lead in onto Solo. Look at that extra control there with the field down. No escape from top lane. They get the arena down. If they got enough lockdown for collapse, he's still got Dissimilate ready to go. He's out to the side. Crystallize and Malik will be able to chase and finish him off.
Some effort, but they got him. I thought he was going to get away because they missed first spear, but able to grab him in time. Assassin, Hunt, and Meepos here. They do see him, though. They have a sentry sitting. Uh-oh. Goes after, though.
Toronto, Tokyo, he's in with the grab. Aegon, he's trying to run. The Boundless into the Earthbind. He's holding back the 2 of them. They're going to be able to glimpse him back in range of so bad, but they can't quite finish him in time. As the team turns up just in time to keep Aegon safe. He's been allowed to turn it around with a beautiful Earthbind onto the 2 of them, and they will manage to protect him. It didn't look like they were going to be able to do so in time there at the beginning, as he was very close to dying to that move from Spirit.
He was. The fact that was the main Meepo was so helpful, because if he doesn't have Ghost Scepter there, he gets hit by Witchblade and Storm's normal routine. Instead, Storm was only able to do a Ball Lightning or a Electric Vortex into 1 Remnant, and then the Boundless Strike came like a miracle at the perfect moment to buy him time to get away. That was the great response. Hey, Meepo paid off, and now look at his net worth. Now he's ahead of everybody. Just need a little bit more of this, and everything's going to be...
Yeah, let's see if how aggressive Aegon's going to be able to be now with this 15-minute E-Blade complete. Now he's definitely going to be a little scarier of a target for Team Spirit to go on, especially if he does continue to have the rest of his team backing him up.
He's got to land 3 Earthbinds in a row, then he can kill this Void Spirit.
Obviously top. I mean, very nicely set up.
3rd.
And this is it's a pretty good combo run with the monkey. He sure is not necessarily the longest stun in the world, but it's long enough to allow the Meepo time to come in from the fog and have that follow-up Earthbind after you have such a big reach and distance of initiation with that length of balance strike.
Exactly right. Like in the long past, like a couple of years ago, Meepo with Blink Dagger was more common because they do these like blink into Earthbind combos. That build is not seen as good anymore, therefore he still has to get E-Blades, so now he's still missing some initiation. So if he can get this initiation, he can keep getting kills like this on all these important heroes.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo, he's come in for this, but he's used pretty much all of his mana. Is he going to be able to get himself out of the arena? He's falling low. Jump forward from Crystallize. The Wukong's is down as well as the Boundless Strike. Toronto Tokyo getting a little baited in there. And now, whoa, straight to the arena and hit by the spear. Oh my goodness, Yatoro. Oh, that couldn't have gone any worse for him. He goes in and immediately Malik with the spear response as this ends a complete nightmare of a fight there for Spirit. Triple kill for Crystallize on the cleanup, and oh, that's got to hurt for Yatoro.
No kidding. These last 2 fights are just completely game changing. Like, it looked iffy for them, but then they go for these kills and it just wasn't quite clean enough. And everything goes south. That many heroes, especially the Morphling dying, was a massive mistake. But great timing by the Mars to get him with the stun before he used more.
I'm going to try and take down Crystallize there. Limit at the ready though, keeping him a little protected. Are they able to finish him off? They will. They'll come in with a burst from Yatoro, take down Crystallize. So bad already seeing if he can chase for more, but Malik pushes him back with a rebuke. Are able to get a good hit back here as they come back into the game with the respawns, and of course, you know, as NoTechies are finding out again, they've got to be very careful how they go for these pushes around this disruptor, as Maposhka is always going to look to try and punish them for overstepping.
Just a moment of maybe lack of attention. But at least it was only 1 hero. They forced a lot of resources out of it, so the worst. Mars picked the haste screen. That's great for finding a good init. Well, for progress on Meepo, he's got a ultimate orb, so going for Scotty, of course. It's a pretty sick Scotty game. 2 range cores, Storm Spirit and Morphling.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, good luck running away from this lineup. If they do what they did there again, if they get sort of finding themselves end up in the middle of the Wukong's command, you know, that slow combined with like the Witchblade, I mean, you're not going to be able to run away from this.
Yeah. It's down to the setup though. They get the smoke. They're wrapping around to see if they can initiate. There's a Yules on Void though.
They're in. That's the opener. Each and every time here, Crystallize starting things up with the Boundless. He's going to be able to save himself a little bit. The Yules. He's off to the side and he is going to make it away.
No.
Solid setup, but not quite having the follow-up lockdown now. Drag back on to Malik with the glimpse. Hero Hammer coming down as well as the Remnant pullback, but he's tanky here, Malik. Spirit won't be able to throw anything else into an attempt to take him down.
They really needed to kill the Void Spirit there. Used a lot of resources on him. They're going to have to back and slow down a little bit. Not the end of the world. They still have these good hero matchups, but... And Meepo's been hitting creeps this whole time too, so he's not slowed down much.
Keeping himself ahead of Yatoro and Toronto Tokyo right now. Toronto Tokyo, he's nearly got the BKB, so definitely a bit of a different build, but I guess a necessary one as at this sort of game without the BKB against the control that NoTechies have, it's just going to be such a dangerous fight, every single one of them for the Storm. He really needs this.
Yeah, and it's going to slow him down a little bit. He's not going to have as much mana. He did grab the mana regen talent to offset this a bit, and as long as he's a little careful, it'll be fine. His net worth is still really high, and his Morphling also has a Manta now, so he can get out of 1 Earthbind. Gets the Arcane. Egg there. Initiating for NoTechies is just really hard. Like they did in the last fight, they keep Void Spirit in the front. He's got tons of ways to get out of danger. He's got Yule Scepter. If they make any mistakes in how they initiate, he should be able to stay alive. And if that's the case, it's hard for them to... They don't really have like the best heroes for just blowing up the tower safely. Everybody's a little bit vulnerable, so they got to get kills to be successful. So as long as their positioning is good, they should be able to defend. They've got some item tools that make...
Posture ready with the setup in case there is anyone that does try and step forward to go for the tower. NoTechies, they're going to try and hit them with the smoke. Yule's finished on Malik, so further catch and setup from himself. They're ready.
Radiant are scanning.
You can find Toronto Tokyo. No, he's going to look over towards the morph. Straight down, follows up the Yules there with the spear into the tier 1 tower. They've got the arrow coming in, but he did get that shift off, of course, so building up a lot of HP and enough to get out to the side. As now the turnaround comes in place. Spirit collapsing onto Malik. They'll take down the Mars. Now they look over towards Crystallize. Crystallize has been broken, dragged back in by the Remnant. Collapse coming in with the control over towards Zayat. So now with the glimpse back onto Solo, they're going to be able to find themselves a 4th here. Triple kill for Toronto Tokyo as Spirit pull together an excellent defense around the tower, punishing NoTechies for going in too hard on the Morphling.
I mean, if they kill the Morphling, fights probably moderately differently, but they used so many resources. That was basically everything, right? Mars full combo, Mirana full combo, Monkey King full combo, and they still didn't kill him. He was pretty healthy, actually. This is one of the issues with their mostly nuke lineup. It's not going to work well against somebody that can just have 3,000 HP. You need like a carry that's scaling to add damage while you're disabling them more. Tons of disable, but not quite enough damage to make that combo look good.
Getting Roche as well off the back of that. Very, very, very good stuff here from Spirit. And something, that NoTechies as a lineup, with the Meepo, Roche is definitely going to be something that would always be on the table for them, but now missing out on that opportunity due to that bad fight around mid.
Meepo is hitting creeps at least, so there's small upside. He's got his Scotty finished. The evasion talent as well as opponents are right-clicking, so there's some okay things for him. But again, it's hard for him to leap in to start these engagements, at least until he gets something like a Blink Dagger or a Shadow Blade. So if they don't win like a convincing fight, he's not going to rotate over to engage here.
Mid lane Solo trying to clear out the waves, but they'll easily take that cold kill presented for them. Now they can look to pushing onto this tier 1.
Is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
They got Greaves very soon from close. Now he's gonna go back for a Vlad's afterwards. Trying to make their team fight better, basically, because right now their initiation's a little bit wacky, but if they just have Mech and Vlad's, they can keep Meepo alive. Maybe Meepo carry them through team. But
yeah,
the items that Team Spirit has, the BKBs, their survive with their Manta on Morphling, it's going to be a little bit hard. All right, see if they can get.
So they can do this. He's got Aegis and BKB, immediately pops it. They'll turn their attention over towards So Bad instead, and they'll get it. They take down the Nyx Assassin. Toronto Tokyo trying to fight his best with the rest of the BKB. Jump forward, aggressively buy Collapse. They get the glimpse back onto Crystallize, but they're a little scared now. Now that the Meepo is around, they don't want to fully commit. NoTechies, on the other hand, they do. They chase down the side of Team Spirit on their attempted escape. Static Storm's out and down, but the damage here from Aegon's too much. As the Meepo army clears up the kills, he's falling low to the efforts of this Morphling, but he still lives. He's able to take down the Storm that once will finally die, though. The Toronto Tokyo is going to be back for a second round, but the timing's there from Malik. Spear into arrow. They lock him in position. Have they got the damage? They do, as they bring down Toronto Tokyo off the back of his Aegis.
It was so important that they killed Storm when the Meepo died, otherwise Storm might have stayed alive and got a little more out of that fight, but great disables by Mars. Consistently, the BKB pays off for the initiation originally, but too much damage.
Oh, Yatora. He's finished the E-Blade. He's actually able to get in and burst through Crystallize. He might just find Malik as well. TPs are coming in on the mid. Malik's trying to run. Can he get away from this? He cannot. Yatora picks himself up too. Casual core kills here in the mid. And now to the side Solo. He's also been caught by Collapse on the way out. Was able to grab a bounty ring, but he'll pay with his life. As this will be more glory for Yatora to get involved in. He's buying time with the Glimmer Cape. Comes to the end. Yatora claims another life.
The tankiest Coddle I've seen in my whole life. The Glimmer active with Hood. It's like, he actually just doesn't take that much magic damage. really just identifying it's all magic burst on the Team Spirit side.
Yeah.
At least until Morphling gets really happy with right clicks. But all right, game is still pretty even. I mean, net worth on Morphling and the Meepo are equal. 1,800 gold past the Scotty. Nothing new since then. He buys next. Very curious. Maybe, yeah, he's gonna go Blink next. Maybe Sheepstick afterwards is what I'd expect. That way you can get better solo kills. Thought about the Meepo shard. I haven't even thought about since I read this in past.
I can't remember what Meepo shard. What? Let's have a look at it.
Brand stack, 30% chance on hit to apply a Geostrike debuff, so it's like old Geostrike basically. So it would give him slow and DPS. Doesn't slow, maybe it slows attack speed. Oh.
Malik, he's looking pretty dead here. And we'll come with the BKB for him, but they get him. As, yeah, Aegon's now got himself the blink. I think, yeah, it's just for the 2 items as well that we're going to see make a big difference for the Meepo in the fights. It's going to be when Solo has the pipe complete and when we see Malik getting the Vlads done. But those 2 heroes, they're dying quite a few too many times here. Solo also caught outside of the base. He's going to try for the TP out. They've got him.
He's so tanky. He's actually so tanky. Incredible. Still dies, but yeah, find some time. Solo identifying a little bit of weakness and then draft. Ransack actually could be pretty good. It's a big damage increase for 1,400 gold. I could see that paying off potentially to make it a lot easier to kill supports as well when he gets on top of them. But for now, Team Spirit doing a great job putting pressure on the map with the heroes that are ready to fight constantly. So until they get BKBs on the NoTechies side, it might be hard for them to. Maybe they're going to be playing for a bit.
And what about the Ags on Meepo, Purger? Is that pretty low tier? You don't expect we'll ever see that?
Channels, and then you can dig for 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Dispels
Any
them,
burrow?
and heals 25. It's potentially good. There's so much mobility on the enemy lineup that if one of your Meeples is dying, buying him time like that, it could be amazing.
Okay.
But there's going to be like Static Storm and lots of other disables coming. I don't know if these are going to be able to channel. I've never seen any, but I literally haven't seen a Meepo game since the patch came out. So who knows? Maybe it's a solution in the later stages of the game. It's good. That's what I like about the shards. It gives you like another option in the right games. Maybe this will be the good one. I'm sure there's better items.
Malik. A good catch here, but team not quite follow up. See some of the next big item timings. I mean, what we've got Crystallize really needing to just get this BKB done, so he's going to feel safe in the fights. On the side of Team Spirit, Collapse going for back for the BKB after he has the Ags complete. And what we'll see in the mid. Oh my goodness, he's gone. God. He is dead.
He's been shotgun. He died so fast.
He really has. As of course, he's got to be careful hopping around these trees. They've got the vision. This storm's going to instantly come crashing through, bringing him down to the ground.
Bit of a vision mistake there, obviously. They put a ward on the high ground looking for a fight, but they didn't put a sentry. Pick off here.
Middle tower is under attack.
Solo.
Oh.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Spotted him.
He's out of there. He'll get a 1-1 nuke on the wave. Keep it pushed out. Of course, still be able to just take down the tower. See if Collapse wants to commit and try and hunt for Solo. He's quite an annoying hero to find, as we've seen, as you say. He is tanky.
Tom, yeah, he did. Okay, then now he doesn't have a teleport, but he does have a trusty shovel.
Oh, he's got the shovel. Here we go.
Couple digs.
Are you feeling lucky? Get that TP scroll.
Give him a bounty rune. That's what I want. Give him the bounty. That's what he needs. Through TPing. All right, here comes.
Bounty or TP? What's he gonna get? Dig.
Dig.
Come on, dig. Oh, come on, come on. He's got to dig. Why isn't he digging? He's not digging.
Tear blast waves. Nothing else matters.
Come on, Solo, dig. Oh, now they're gonna know he's there. If only if he digged. Oh, he's away again though. He doesn't need to get out of this area of the map. He's just been incredibly annoying.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. And
what did he get?
It's a cobalt.
Oh, he got a cobalt. Down bottom. Arena's going to be dropped here. Static Storm is easily going to be walked out of, as NoTechies are able to split Yatoro. He's able to split the skull open of Crystallize. Comes in with the E-Blade combo. Malik caught out by the Remnant. They've found the Meepo. Hammers down onto all of them. Aegon is out. As Yatoro cleans up a second. Looking for the chase there. Malik is trying to run. Collapse has got the control. Yules into a further remnant. It's another kill for Yatoro, as these fights aren't coming together at all for NoTechies, as Spirit getting a fair bit out of control here. Yatoro really starting to take the lead this game.
It's not just him, it's Morphling as well, of course. Yes, you can triple net these guys and kill them, but the downside is, while they're mobile, they can also be really offensive too and punish the Meepo. And Nyx, as just a support, made him look useless. Solo finally dying top.
Oh.
Never mind.
Oh, it's close.
We got that TP. Happy for him. They getting the pesky coddle. I don't know. I think Meepo still sucks, Owen.
You're not feeling it. I mean, and considering as well, this was a game where Meepo was very much picked as the gotcha pick at the end of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, Storm did have a good early game. He got a couple kills, but he's been sitting equal net worth to Meepo the whole time. So what's the justification of playing Meepo at this point? Since your opponents have enough AoE to deal with him, like lock him down or something, why pick Meepo?
Malik gonna try for the chase there, but instantly they just turn and he has no chance there. He tries to set up. The tips coming out as well from Team Spirit, as they know that he really did go in a little too aggressive there, trying to start something off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Meepo queuing up Scythe of Ice next, very far away from it. But it's kind of sad that it's like, oh, you need to buy 4 items to finally have options to... Feels rough. Know how to make the Meepo work. So...
Radiant are scanning.
Coming over, I mean, Crystallize position, but still, without that BKB, Crystallize is just such a liability. He just dies far too quickly. Look at him collapse in the mid. Oh, a little off the mark with the opening. That doesn't matter, though. They get him anyway. Locked down in the Wukong's command. And now they can look to try and chase for more. Sobad's out. They have no detection onto him, so he's away. Static Storm down. They've caught one of the Meepos. Airgon's trapped in the ultimate. He's trying to keep himself alive with the E-Blade, stepping out of the side, but he'll fall. He buys back here in an attempt to turn this fight around. Toronto Tokyo is completely out of mana. Malik will be able to finish him. Malik trying for the further setup, gets glimpsed back. Crystallize is still able to get the jump in onto Meposhka. Now, if they could get Roshan, this buyback will be absolutely worth it.
Time buyback from Disruptor, though. Morphling as Monkey King.
Oh, and
jumping
Storm.
on trees.
If they lose this fight around the Roche Pit, this could be it for NoTechies. It's going to zip in, try and look to get the kill onto Crystallize. Crystallize is getting low, so is Airgon. Airgon is trying to finish the Roche. He's going to be able to do it in time. Roche goes down, but the Aegis is snatched by Toronto Tokyo. He'll claim the Aegis. Meepo's out for 2 minutes. And now Spirit should be able to get a solid cleanup here with a second life for Toronto Tokyo. They're looking for Malik. They'll find him on the high ground. Malik goes down. As those buybacks, yeah, they know it.
Yeah.
GG is called. An excellent move there from Spirit to just say, if we kill him around the pit, this game's over and done for.
I feel bad. I want Meepo to be at least a little viable here, but I think this is a good example of it just not looking that strong. Just gets focused and he dies. He doesn't have 35 magic resist.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team, Dire team ban.
No crazy last pick shenanigans, please. I just want a solid game of Dota 2 where both teams are able to execute their lineup and we just see the best team win. Is that too much to ask? It seems like it is today. We are here with Game 3, Team Spirit versus NoTechies. We got Brian on the big screen. We got Kyle, we got T-Gov. And Brian, what is your excuse for not finding something to pick on from the Game 2?
Well, this isn't the kind of stuff I want to come into the second game saying, or third game, excuse me, but I just watched that game and I felt like there was just a bunch of random slip-ups back and forth from both teams. Like, it was an overcommitment on the Morphling mid and feeding 4 heroes with the Meepo not there. It's like Morphling waveforming into a Monkey King ult and dying. Like, I didn't really feel like there were some major metagaming plays that particular game. So I honestly think both teams played a bit sloppily, but at the end of the day, kudos to Team Spirit for the item choices. If I had the ability to highlight item choices, I could do an assessment like that, I think, but I couldn't find a specific clip, Kyle. So, you know,
Kyle. I don't really want to open this way, but let me continue this monologue throughout the first 3 picks of the draft and mention
those are some
plays
rapid picks, man. We're running it back. Those are some rapid picks.
That is true. It is literally the same until the one true king comes out. Shout out to Rich. That is the pick. I just feel like this hero's good.
Yeah, I don't mind it, especially the adjustment for draft. Okay, hold on. I just allowed you to say it's good and then move on. I literally allowed you to say nothing and then, okay. You know what? Kyle, why is it good? Quickly give me like 2-3 points to bounce off. Why is it good? Wraith King, go.
Well, you have 2 lives.
That's true. Done. Actually, surprisingly, that's it.
You scale well. I don't think you want to go Radiance in a game against Nyx ever, however, so the itemization might have to change up a bit. But based on how I watched Crystallize play Monkey King, I'd really prefer him to be on something like Wraith.
Well, he's not buying a Witchblade, so he can't really make that mistake. So it's
Armlet Deso, though, that could work. He likes the Deso. I love Wraith King Deso.
I've been playing predominantly carry this patch, and I will say that when the opponent has like easy kill threat on you, it feels almost impossible to win. Like, both games so far, we've seen Morphling in a good Morphling game feel very potent, and the hero that's fragile, the Troll Warlord the first game, the Monkey King the second game, it just looks impossible to play from the carry perspective. This whole patch feels like that. Every hero that's popular, the Shadow Shamans, the Void Spirits, the Nyx Assassins, their whole point is to just kill you in like half a second. So I think that's one of the reasons why heroes like Wraith King are super popular, for more than just the reasons why, you know, their individual kit is strong. This patch is very low forgiveness for the carry role, I will say.
Remaining.
Morphling should, I would assume, get banned out by NoTechies.
I'd love to see that from NoTechies. I think when you see this type of draft occur in these teams where they haven't really changed the first like bans and initial picks, it shows that they have this respect of the strategies they're bringing, and they want to make minor adjustments, like we saw in that Na'Vi series where Na'Vi just kind of stuck to what they knew how and what it worked with. So for NoTechies, picking this Wraith King plays into what Brian was saying about the whole kind of assassins that Team Spirit like to draft, this kind of find you and kill you, and Wraith King can happily just run into that. So I would like to see them cover themselves by banning out the Morphling, these more kind of active skirmishing carries that can pressure the map again, and then it allows NoTechies to actually get into the game and play it, because when you hit creeps on all 5 heroes for 20 minutes and unable to take any fight and you die to an E-Blade, it is a big issue.
I think there's been a lot of patches where the carry hero, in this case, like last game, the Monkey King, can be played as a pseudo semi-carry enabler. And this patch, it just doesn't really seem like that's an option. And that's why I think heroes like Meepo are just not seen as much, because that's what they turn your carry into. Your carry can't go Maelstrom or Battle Fury when you have a Meepo. You're all about the tempo. And so moving forward in this tournament, I think that's why we're not seeing those heroes work out. Like people want to try them. It's like, oh, it's a good Meepo game. He's really good against all 3 cores, but you're kind of like griefing somebody on your team by picking the hero.
Do love griefing my team.
Kyle loves doing it too. Yeah.
The Dota
I thought you
way.
were gonna say Sheaves.
Things like from a
You're griefing me, yes.
No.
griefing this panel, Kyle. Please say something good.
Be good.
I love you, Kyle. Forgive me. I know what Reddit.
That's my, my dad. Anytime he drops me off at the airport, he always says, "What do I always tell you?" And the answer is, "Be good. And if you can't be good, be careful." The line from my grandfather.
Smart. It works out.
Yeah.
But can this Storm Spirit be careful against the Nyx Assassin, Kyle? That's the question.
They just don't care.
Seconds remaining.
They have
It's
Coddle.
also-
It does enable him.
Yeah,
Well,
and
Very strong.
You can't really pick morph anymore. It's a really tough morph. But yeah, I mean, people, they just straight up are ignoring the Nyx Assassin. Feels like a lot of teams are just accepting like, oh yeah, it's good. But
Against everything. Yeah. It's just
well,
there.
he's good against every end hero, but a lot of people are choosing the end heroes that can reciprocate the threat. In this case, like Void Spirits, we see the Pucks, the Storm Spirits. If you're an end hero like OD, for instance, there's no way in hell you're ever initiating on the Nyx Assassin. He'll always get the jump on you. But these heroes, as long as they see Nyx under a sentry, can burst him down full to 0 before he gets his spells off. And I think that's basically the best option they got out of all the mid laners right now.
But also on the flip side, it's the end tiers that also have an escape mechanism. So if they do get jumped and they survive by buying that one tanky item, they then just escape anyway. So it really doesn't feel as bad as like the old days of like Nyx v end heroes. CM?
Casual CM. Mana battery reporting in.
Yeah, nothing too much about this. You have a nice route for the early punishment of Storm Spirit. You've got the enabling factor of Void Spirit could maybe be this offlane or this mid. I kind of feel like it will be the mid for Toronto Tokyo, and it's just if we cross that river and start fighting and breaking down the map, Coddle doesn't like that type of aggression.
you feel like
Nice.
Void Spirit is just a representation Twitch chat right now
Why?
and what they're telling SJ?
Why?
So he's number one.
No.
Yeah, I'm number 1.
No, that's not it.
What is it,
It's not what I
Kyle?
thought, Brian. I'm just saying
Come
what
on,
you're doing.
give your the pun.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's not number one. Sorry, it's the opposite actually. It's
5 seconds remaining.
Shush.
yeah.
What? That's not a shush sign.
That looks like a shush.
Dude, he is doing his all like being
Zen mode right now.
Zen mode, exactly. If BSJ is Zen. You're basically calling BSJ Zen mode,
Oh.
God mode.
But right now, this angle, that's a shush.
That's
Now
a
it's
shush.
kind of like a Zenny type vibe, but yeah, all right.
We saw this AM in the
Because
race.
don't see the depth. Sorry, go for it.
We've discussed this, but I would have much preferred a morph once again, I think, over this Animage. We've seen AM versus Wraith King. It just feels like unless the AM is super far ahead, it's not the perfect matchup. In addition, I can't believe it's taken all day for us to see a Shaker, because we saw an EU yesterday. This hero is unbelievably strong. Don't even need a blink necessarily, just have the shard.
And Zayach as a beast in Shake.
5
Indeed.
seconds.
And the best part about that game yesterday was that shard is so good on Shaker. He doesn't even need to use slam on the hero. He's slamming just for the procs on the fish. It's just so much fun to see
It's
Shaker.
a way bigger AoE than it should.
Anti-Mage though, outside of the lockdown of Earthshaker with Blink Dagger, it can obviously, have a free game into the likes of Wraith King and Storm. I think maybe the itemization on Storm, like we saw in that previous game, that quick BKB, it can easily play, victim for the Anti-Mage.
The trouble is you don't know your laning matchup, and there's still there's an LC, there's a Slardar in the pool.
Yep.
We saw Axe have success. Like, you're gonna have something annoying to deal with in the laning phase. It feels like hang on, we'll get the carry expert's opinion here, but I felt like AM is one of the more lane-dependent carries in Dota 2.
Dire team
Yeah, the Anti-Mage doesn't have a backup plan. He can't really jungle early. He doesn't rotate to take towers. He pretty much, his farming acceleration is completely dependent on how long he's allowed to stay in his lane. And the thing about Anti-Mage is he's really polarizing. He's either allowed to hit you because you don't threaten him and he burns all your mana and thus you don't threaten him at all, like your threat level's a 0 out of 10, or he
5
can't hit you,
remaining.
and then
Team back.
you can hit him all you want, and you're like a 10 out of 10. So I feel like, though, like you said, pick one of these like Slardar Legion type heroes. They do ban the Slardar out. That can be hyper aggressive on them early. They've got the Shaker to enable the fissure block. The creep wave will be near their tower. It's like nice on paper, right? If he gets off to a decent start, obviously he's great against Storm and the Wraith King. But the Wraith King, like you said, is probably not going Radiance. He's probably just going like Armlet, Deso, into an Abyssal Blade or something. And that's actually pretty good against Anti-Mage once he gets the Shard. And I'm not a little bit skeptical still.
The only saving grace is simply you have this Shaker 4. He doesn't apply direct pressure to the carry. It's all about just lane positioning. CM is a very strong 5, so you can bully that offlaner, because again, Shaker doesn't really provide much other than here's your lane back at your tower and maybe Fissure to stop the aggression. So Anti-Mage should find farm unless there is that kind of big pick. I think Enigma, Slaughter, the bans from Spirit, these were probably some of the most potent of the offlaners, because Enigma would always keep that wave back and pressure the tower, and Slaughter in the 1v1 would do pretty well. They then block pick the Legion themselves. We got a draft on our hands. Look at that. Nice little block pick there, lads.
It's a lot of single target, but I do like that decision. It's a nice pick against the Wraith King in lane, too.
We saw them do it against Extreme, and it was super successful.
Yeah.
This was very clever with the intent to ban 2 of the counters and block pick the other one.
Yeah, it's good.
It's the only way to make it happen, really.
All right, so what's left for NoTechies? We are most likely also looking for an offlaner for them. What will Malik play this time around? He has played Pugna. You still like?
Yeah, I like Axe. It's a non-dispellable stun too. So even if you press the attack, the anti-mage, it kind of usually kills him because you'll have the blade mill and make you attack faster.
I'm looking at his hero pool and it really doesn't look that good into Team Spirit has. So I think Axe probably stands out there best, most likely.
Yeah, I don't see too many great alternatives. Like Earthshaker does prefer to benefit like a ranged support.
Good for the Axe.
Nice one.
Yeah, it's just the hero that addresses the enemy win condition. It's the pick, and yeah, I think the lane might be a little tough. Depends on how much work Zayak can do, but I once again really like the NoTechies style here.
This is kind of a lineup though, which has a lot of do nothing heroes until after laning phase and maybe a little bit of jungle time, and that's when they kind of come online. So for me, the mid lane matchup is critical for who sets the pace of the game and who can open up the map for their cores to farm and to get to that point of we can fight as a team quickly.
Final thoughts from you, Brian?
I think Anti-Mage might experience something similar to what he experienced the first game as Troll, where he's kind of just getting ran at by a couple heroes. They're not necessarily going to kill him, but they're just going to keep him from getting the farm that he wants early, and that'll allow Wraith King to hit the faster timings. So my initial gut is going to go with the NoTechies, and that's what I'll stick with here.
All right, thank you very much. We'll come back to you after the game. Kyle, you on board with what Brian's saying?
I honestly wasn't really listening, but Brian is an excellent analyst, and I think that he definitely had.
So which team do you think he went for?
NoTechies, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
You on board with that too? Want to add some glimmers of hope for Team Spirit?
Sure, why not? Let's go Team Spirit. Woo!
Yeah, I mean,
you can't just like make.
I was just pulling a Kyle.
What needs to happen for them to do well?
AM has to do very well.
It on paper looks like a good AM game. Can he get there? I think he actually can. You know, I rate it. But Cuddle into Storm. Storm always has mana because he's got the Cuddle. So, it's awkward. I actually don't like AM. I'm going to go to NoTechies.
All right,
Sorry,
let's see. Who takes his third game of the series? We're going to find out together with Odie Pixel and Purge. Thank you very much, Steve. Yes, the deciding game now between NoTechies and Team Spirit. Purge. We've heard some of the panel's opinions. They are preferring what NoTechies have got going on here. What do you sort of think looking at these lineups? Is this AM pick the right way for Spirit to go?
It's a little dangerous. I mean, it has good matchups in some ways, right? Like against Storm Spirit, you can potentially get those like easy kills if he overextends or goes for a deep kill on your allies. Against Wraith King, you can potentially drain his mana to get some crucial kills. So both of these things kind of require AM to be a little bit more in lane and less maybe AFK farming like you normally expect. But the other thing that's kind of nice for AM is that you're laning against an Earthshaker support. So getting fissure blocked is not a big deal either because you can just blink away. So like there's some matchup advantages that are kind of good, but can you make all that work? It might be a little bit hard if your opponent's pressure really well. So win lanes, Team Spirit will be fine. Have rough lanes, die a little bit too much on AM, then yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
We'll see what sort of setup they can get that gives Yatora the space early on, or if indeed we're, as sort of Brian was saying, could maybe see a similar game to what we had in game one, where Yatora really struggled with the pace that that NoTechies was able to bring against him.
The battle begins.
So for some of the lane setups, nothing too surprising. Toronto Tokyo, of course, playing the Void Spirit here in the mid against Airgon, who, of course, this time is going to show us how it's done on the Storm after having that last game against a very impressive performance. Tokyo's own Storm. And on the side lanes, I mean, and as we have for the panel as well, they did suggest that Axe was likely to come up with as the last pick. Do you think this was pretty much the best way for NoTechies to end their draft?
I mean, it's a really solid hero in the fact that it can deal a lot of lane pressure against anti-mage, get damage. Blade Mail is always going to be effective if you blink call AM, because AM has a high damage to lower HP ratio. So, yeah, there's good things about it for sure. It's definitely one of the better heroes remaining that's going to make team fighting a lot better for their team.
We'll see how much Zayats can do to mess around with them. To block Maposhka in here. Got at least a fair few hits onto him here to start things off. Gonna be a lane where Maposhka gonna have to be rather careful with his positioning once they've got a level or two. These Fisher blocks from Zayats pretty deadly.
Are a little scary for sure, but on the bright side, the damage output of like Axe Earthshaker is not that extreme. We see Battle Hunger is okay, but if you just Crystal Novas, like these guys aren't gonna wield that much right-click damage effect because the attack speed's low, so won't be too bad, I don't think. Maposhka doesn't have too many laning issues usually anyways. Ooh, Magic Stick being destroyed there.
Oh, nice little find it from so bad behind the tower.
Below getting his sentry dewarded finally. That was his sentry, right?
Yeah, he denied his own, right?
Okay. Why did he block it in the first place then?
I
don't know either.
I mean, was it sort of initially he didn't want them to aggressively pull the lane so that Crystallized was forced to farm under the tower, but then he changed his mind? I don't know.
I'd have to watch the replay.
Yeah.
Maybe BSJ can tell us after the game.
I'm sure we will expect it on the replay. Yeah, as in the Weatherman segment, Brian. Top lane Malik. A little low there. They're gonna jump in and try and force him back as much as possible. Has still got the salve, so ready to keep himself fit for the lane. And how are we seeing mid? Pretty much straight even at this moment in time. 15-0, 15-0. Could be any closer here between the two. It's definitely going to be a game where that 4-minute power rune control is going to be very important for both teams, as really will be up to the supports to secure that rune for their mid.
So everybody's happy this game right now. Nobody's really super shut down. Everyone's levels are coming fine here. CM maybe not getting pulls done, but it's pretty common for all these players to interrupt these. Don't let them get too much space. Solo is being contested by Nick's Assassin, so all the cores farming fine. This might change a little bit as time goes on. So I'm going mid for some pressure. No, nothing really going to finish there. Just some damage. Maybe AM has to be more careful. His last hits are starting to fall behind where Axes are. And with the Ring of Health being complete on Axe, he's going to rush for a quick guard. That's going to mean that he's going to be able to basically tank any of the damage that AM throws at him. He's not going to have any mana, but all this pure damage against AM is going to run him out of HP a lot faster than vice versa.
We'll see if they're able to get some ancient stacks going as well for Malik. Not heading over there now, but great accelerators for the Axe, especially when they go for that Vanguard first. 4-minute runes. See who's able to get it. They're all heading towards the top one. And who's going to be able to grab it first? Remnant down, but it's going to end up spawning on the bottom half. It's going to be a bit of a chase down there to grab it. Looks like neither of the mids are going to be able to take it, though. Solo taking it out of the game, so neither able to get the bottle refill from that. Airgon does get Zayats coming in from base, though, to provide him with the complete bottle charges.
Still very even in the mid lane, though, so both teams just trying to make sure neither of those matchups goes super hard one way or the other. Anti-mage pretty low, Salve coming from a Poshka. Poshka also has boost of speed, so very survivable. Unlikely he ends up dying, but pretty soon Axe is going to have Vanguard, 800 gold from now or whatever, but feels like that matchup's looking good for Axe. All the pure damage is something AM does not want to have to deal with, and he doesn't have his own Ring of Health yet. Loves the pace first. coming up. No major rotations for this. Storm's going to get the top ones from Earthshaker. I feel like Earthshaker's going to have a little bit of a tough game here. Like normally Earthshaker, like you get not that many levels, but the upside is that you get to transition into helping out getting some kills basically. But there aren't, outside of like Fidgeting at the perfect time after like Axe Call, I don't know how he's going to help get kills.
Let's see Maposhka. Can't get away from these two. It's that battle hunger.
Yeah.
Slowly tick him down. Malik finally getting that first blood here. 5.5 minutes in.
So good that he was able to get that. 300 gold accelerating right now when AM already has the rough matchup. It's the Vanguard finish plus extra. So here it comes. Good luck pressuring Axe.
He's going to be pretty much able to farm wherever he wants around this tower, around this top half of the map. So it's going to take some considerable rotations to really kill Malik this early with that sort of timing.
On the bright side for Spirit, though, Crystallized playing Wraith King is a little bit behind in net worth. Moderately, he's about 500 net worth behind where Anti-Mage is right now. He's got boots, so he's semi-survivable, but the Legion Commander 39-6 versus the 25-2 of Wraith King. He has certainly been pressured here in this lane.
It's true, yeah, an insane amount of farm on Collapse. Of course, as quick as that Vanguard is on Malik, we're also going to see Collapse be on track to get his items out very fast this game. And of course, level 6 has the duel at the ready. See what sort of movements they want to make around it. How are we doing on Toronto, Tokyo? Might hold off until the 8-minute power room. See if either him or of course Aegon get something nice to make an aggressive play with.
Like they could dive soul a little bit here. It's a good person to duel, but full HP, the blast now. Luck on that. Skeletons will push out Nyx Assassin a little, I guess, but they didn't really have major intentions of the tower. The catapult died to the pull anyways. And as long as they just keep getting more farm and Legion Commander, this should be pretty good. He's got phase boots up now, so his ability to pressure Wraith King is high. As long as they just slow down Wraith King's farm and get their AM some space, things will be kind of okay for him, I guess. Bit of a slow game. Everybody just hitting creeps mostly.
Yeah,
not too much kill threat.
I mean, as you say, you know that both carries are certainly going to be very happy with this. Looking for those big items. Crystallized will opt for the armlet on the build-up though this game, so he is definitely going to be a bit more ready to fight before the anti-mage, before your Tauros. It's going to be close to feeling comfortable at getting involved. And now sort of leaving that top lane alone.
Maybe a kill here on Nyx.
See, Aegon still plenty of mana to play with. Waits out the Carapace and kill is his. Finding something indeed with that 8-minute haste rune. The top lane. Gonna have Toronto, Tokyo come across and start to pull together the defense. Malik running in aggressively at them. He's got the call set up. Not gonna have any follow-up though. Yatoro, definitely a very hard kill for them to find, at least without the backup of Aegon.
It's good to do those little trades sometimes, though, like burn his mana on X. Now he's just dead out of being able to improve. Yeah, he can still farm here, but limited. Maybe a duel.
Oh, he wants to. Hard. He wants to, but he won't. He sees that TP coming in and Collapse knows better than to risk it, and he may still have stepped forward too far. So bad. It's going to help out a little bit with the Impale, but the mana given to Aegon by Solo, giving him enough to continue to chase him, but now he's actually completely out. Has just enough for the Vortex, though, and that will be enough to guarantee the kill on Collapse.
Maybe he duels Coddle there and kills him, but it's really low chances. All his skill points are into overwhelming odds to nuke, so he's not going to get more than 1 moment of courage proc, basically, during the duel. Maybe 2 if he's lucky. So, good attempt to pressure, I guess, but at some point, Storm's just going to show up like that, and he's going to punish you. The laning advantage that he had, yeah, he's still doing fine. He's got 2 bracers in phase, but die too much like that, and they haven't taken their own tier 1 tower. It's one of the downsides to Legion versus someone like an Axe who don't creep quite as quickly, especially with the skill build. So the map pressure from the NoTechies side is just stronger at the moment.
Malik. Coming in around the mid here, 10-minute rune. It's going to be down in their hands. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, but they're going to be able to group secure it there with the amount they brought in mid. NoTechies.
Dire's middle
They'll be able to grab this. So now, Aegon, a lot of offensive potential. Chance to get in there with the DD.
That's terrifying. DD rune. AM's scared, for example. No, he's gonna use it now. Get some damage in. Huh. I mean,
he could have saved it for something bigger, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have thought he would have saved it there. I mean, he did some damage, and yeah, that's an astral step is used or whatever, but he went in offensively. Maybe he was worried about keeping himself alive or something.
Sure, wanted to scare them off.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They do take the tower finally, though. AM has a Ring of Health and I think a Broadsword into his Battle Fury. So he's getting there. His net worth is certainly lower than you'd want it to be, 4.2, but top cores are only about 5,000, 5,100. So he's got time to catch up as long as his team can make some stuff happen in the meantime and not get choked out on the map too much.
Sure. It's going to be a real test for Spirit to see if they can hold off when pretty much the 3 cores and NoTechies hit their first items. You know, when you have the Orchid on Storm, the Armlet on Wraith King, and the Blink on the Axe. That's going to be the real testing phase for Spirit to see if they can just sort of hold as 4 and give the space for Yatoro to get his farming items done on the Anti-Mage.
And the Blink is on the way for Axe here. He also got lucky, picked up a chip vest, so a 4-man's Blade Mail ready to go right off the start. But Legion is now going to play up here, try to help them defend this area. And we haven't seen a duel just yet, but maybe here's our first one.
It looks like it could be. As, yeah, collapsed. He's able to reach in, get the grab. Nice setup for So Bad. That is first victory here for the Collapsed Legion.
A little gold for him, a little damage. That'll help make his lane a little bit more stable. And now Team Spirit's going to be able to move their heroes out across the map now that the jungle feels well defended. They've committed a lot of sentries and a lot of observers up onto this top lane so far. Collapse having more safe. Wraith King's now still behind Anti-Mages, but catching up slightly. But once AM picks up Battle Fury, he should be dwarfing, I assume, Wraith King, since Wraith King is pretty behind him when Armlet.
Here we go. This is what we expect to see from NoTechies as soon as they had this Blink on Axe. Time to make the moves, and I mean, any core would do, but Anti-Mage would be pretty much the dream catch.
Bottom. Maybe they're going to gank him now, but it's hard. He's got the Illusion Rune, so you can dispel the Orchid. It's like the best possible rune he could get in this moment while he's finishing his Yule Scepter, and here it is. Yule's now finished too.
Turn attentions towards mid. Spirit definitely seemingly aware that this sort of move's coming into play, keeping most of the cores off the map. Hello for the easy kill onto So Bad. Stay easy though, despite Carapace. Buying him a bit of time, not enough though. Aegon able to swing in, pull him back with a Vortex as they take down the next assassin and start to apply some pressure to this tier 1 tower mid. Team Spirit, they have turned up though. Oh, we'll see if they are able to push them back though. It's a pretty scary defense.
I mean, how do they stop this push? They have overwhelming odds, but they can't even get close because Axe has Blink Dagger and he's standing on the opposite side of the tower. Like, nobody could approach this in the slightest to pull the creep wave past. And even if they did, they've still got Wraith King skeletons and Axe is tanky, so pretty easy for them to force the tower. The Z push is certainly one thing that Team Spirit's lacking here. Until they get like counter initiation ready from Legion Commander or something like that, they're not going to. He does have Blink now. Imagine if he gets this a minute faster. Maybe they can actually take a fight there, but no opportunity. So they lose the tower.
Still going to try and make a smoke move with this though, as they're making their way straight over towards this Wraith King. Crystallize, of course, has got Reincarnate ready to go. And also starts to move away before they get anywhere close enough. Zayat's also with his Invis rune. It's going to be a good bit of provider of information for the rest of his team. And he's going to start setting things up. Arms the next assassin. Finding So Bad again alone in the river. I'll start things off once more, taking out the Nyx.
Stay done by Crystallize, not the fall for that. When he sees the AM, he realizes the potential rotation was coming and he doesn't get grabbed there. Definitely, possibly gets killed there. If he gets dueled with AM, get his mana drained, he ends up going down, but ends up turning around the other way, and Team Spirit's gonna have to look for a kill on the opposite side of the map. So thus far, the Legion Commander's impact has not felt that much higher than Axe's. Axe shut down his opponent not as hard, but I feel like Axe just has so much more team fight threat right now with all this tanking.
Talking about the Axe, Malik is in with the grab. He's got the setup. Is there going to be any sort of save for Yatoro? Oh, they have to follow up Fisher perfectly. As soon as that initiation is purged off by the Legion, the Fisher comes crashing down, and it doesn't matter. Yatoro remains locked in position.
Collapse was ready to save him, but there was just too much stuns.
Oh, Malik!
Oh.
He's able to jump past Sobag, get the call on the two of them on the back lines. They're in with a follow-up Illuminate Blast. They're taking out the Crystal Maiden. Toronto Tokyo, they jumps across from the side, hits a huge astral step onto the three of them. He's taken out the Storm. The setup's there with the duel onto Crystallize. They kill him off the once. Malik tries to get him with the call, but Collapse is already out of range. Crystallize, ready to go with the second life, but underneath the tower, they've got to be careful. NoTechies starting to back off. Impale from Sobag catches onto the Axe. Remnant off the mark, though. Malik is able to step to the side and still retreat.
Okay, not too bad. Very good fight for NoTechies, obviously. Great Axe call. That Observer Ward paying off big time. Was placed earlier. And with Caudal Blast follow-up, it just, these fights look pretty straightforward for NoTechies right now. Able, damage follow-up, pick the crucial heroes. They lost Storm, unfortunately, but still, fights are going great for NoTechies. They're pressuring the map just far better. Spirit can defend again.
Another grab, Malik. He's able to get the jump in onto Collapse, dunk down to finish up the kill. Toronto Tokyo is going to jump across, has got a DD room ready to play with. Airgon, still plenty of mana though, as he's able to get away from the Void Spirit over towards the CM, take out Maposhka. Toronto Tokyo looking for solo. Malik and Zayas, they're ready to jump back in from the side though. And Spirit know it, they won't continue to try and chase down anyone.
Storm's just always ready to go. He does all these aggressive things. Caudal gives him a little boost. He pops a bottle charger too, and he's at 80% mana. Makes it so easy for them to fight, but kind of a big mistake by Legion Commander. He moves into the same area where they got blind initiated on before. It hadn't been dewarded yet, and maybe they said something, but the supports did not have time to take out the Observer Wards, and as a result, two big initiations that again sets tempo for NoTechies.
As we see all three cores of NoTechies starting to cruise ahead at a very similar pace to one another. And, you know, these timings crystallize as well, opting for the armlet into the Deso this game. Are you a fan of this instead of sort of the more standard Radiance build? This Deso rush really fits with the timing they want to play to?
It's basically good because it's going to help them defeat Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage doesn't have that much armor at many stages of the game because you go Battle Fury, Manta, and then usually like a utility item or a beat.
Yeah.
So if he has Deso and Armlet, he does tons of physical damage with minus armor. It's a good solution against AM, who's low health and medium armor is usually. So it'll be good against Legion Commander and other heroes also. But you know, you don't really want to play Radiance against Nyx too bad. You don't really want to have Radiance against Anti-Mage either because he's got magic resistance and things like that. So he's been slowly catching up, but Wraithking's farm level is finally in a good spot here. So it's been doing a good job.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The way the last few fights have gone and the kills that Airgon's been able to pick up, he's pretty much got that BKB done on top of the Orchid. These fights, at least around this mid game, don't seem like they're going to be any easier for Team Spirit in these sort of 5-on-5s. There's NoTechies just with that pure amount of jump.
Feels like this is like maybe a good demonstration of Legion being a bit ineffective as a hero in high-level pro games. Like you can do really well in your lane, but people aren't going to come to your lane and give you free duels. It doesn't happen like that in pro games where they're organized, right? So then what you have to do is go around and try to gank other places, but doing so without Blink Dagger is hard, and the separation there in distance is difficult, which makes you want to play Axe instead of Legion. Then you got AoE, and you can do this. You can save people, but it doesn't quite give enough value in a lot of games. Even though Collapse laned well and got a gold advantage, it doesn't feel as strong now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
Careful now,
bottom
Spirit.
tower is under
That
attack.
Deso timing on Crystallize. These crits are going to hurt. Anytime he's able to be in position to follow up Malik's calls,
Dire are
these heroes are going to melt.
Pulled back to the top lane. This is another nice thing that increasing his efficiency. Is that he goes and pushes out one lane fairly safely, summons skeletons, then he just leaves with help from Solo pulling him across the map. So instantly goes from defending now into pushing.
Tower is under attack. Dire's structures
They're looking
are
all around for a grab in the mid lane. The tower's going to probably just die naturally here, but they're just outmaneuvering on NoTechies right now, in part because of the Caudal advantage. They want a duel so bad, but they're just going to have to take the tower or let it die.
Neither teams bring anyone out of position as they all stand by one another. NoTechies 20 minutes in, taking these tier 2s away. The defense being provided by Spirits. They just continue to try and avoid NoTechies movements and get space for Yatoro on the map to allow him to try and get this Manta done on top of the Battle Fury. As you say, it's not necessarily a slow timing, but really at the accelerated pace and having that lead on top of the other cores in the game that an anti-mage would normally want to have at 20 minutes.
Yeah, the Axis lane quite well against him. The Roche is gonna go down pretty quickly here with the Deso helping things out a lot. Spirit, clearly they feel safe playing together, but it's hard for them to get their opponents to make mistakes where they're out of position, those duels off. So, and now with the BKB finished on Storm, he's got Essence Ring on top of that. Very survivable here.
Yeah, that's
now
huge.
They're gonna try to force. They're gonna run fights all the time now.
Storm's gonna be so hard to deal with. 2 lives as well with the Aegis. 2 lives on the Storm, 2 lives on the Wraith King. He's at a very strong moment here against what Spirit have. Spirit, again, just having to continue to just limit casualties and stay away until Yatoro is ready and farmed, which is still going to take a little bit of time. Still not quite got that Manta done.
Not worth evening it out a slight amount, but it's a ways away from it. Might get spotted here. As they see him, but he's running. Feels like the initiation is so much easier for the NoTechie side. Because so many different heroes can do it. Earthshaker can do it with Blink. It could be Axe, it could be Storm. On the Team Spirit side, it's basically like, it's got to be like Void jumping in or an Invis Nyx, which is struggling a little bit.
Oh, the Illusion Rune bait working out a little bit here, but still Sides, he's able to find the follow. Comes in with the Echo Slam so bad, and Toronto Tokyo having to get right out of there. Not enough mana from Air, going to chase, and now getting dueled underneath the tower. Do they have the damage to take him down? The once Malik's in with the cool, they will be able to blow him up with the Mana Void. Huge amounts of damage going over towards Malik. Zayats jumps in, but the ult's down from Eposhka. Zayats is trying to sprint, but he can't get out of there. He'll fall, Frostbite down onto the Storm. Airgon still with plenty of mana to get out of there. Crystallize coming in with the Deso, punching into Eposhka. Eposhka able to sneak away into the trees. The Spirit are able to hit back and take a pretty decent fight here around this tier 2 into the Aegis of the Storm, as they will succeed in pushing back NoTechies.
Perfect circumstances considering their game position. Their opponents initiated, and they popped BKB early. The only downside was when they came in to punish it, Earthshaker was so ready for that. He jumps in and gets a big dunk to lower them down and make their fight a lot more vulnerable. But at least with the Storm's first death, the Mana Void comes out. It put Axe in a position where he was actually killable. So they went about even in that fight, at least. They get some map control as well. First BKB charge down. AM doesn't die. Should be able to finish. Oh, yep, he's got a complete. And now things get a little better for them.
Instantly, sort of off the back of that fight, Team Spirit are moving right out onto NoTechie's half of the map. That Manta done on Yatoro is going to feel a lot safer.
Got the shard on Wraith King, by the way, so mana drain is no longer a big deal. But it does slow down his progression. It's going to make his beak. Game advantage there is gone.
Poshka, we get some nice deep wards down. Here down also on the cliff, so some solid information on NoTechie's intentions as they head out. We'll at least instantly warding the
Glimmer for CM, but everybody on NoTechies is here. They're going to spot him.
Oh, Malik. Find the easy catch. That's a lot of damage.
Harvested her bones.
Yeah, certainly did. You're only going to hit harder once Crystallize has that AC done over the death, so it will take a bit of time, but once it's there, these crits are certainly going to be some of the hardest.
I like the AC this game. There's a lot of right-click physical. Spirit almost catches Nyx there. Axe forced to buy BKB this game. That way, if he goes on anti-mage, he doesn't lose all of his mana. Really good against catching the other heroes too. And Toronto Tokyo still having a good game. He's 3-0-1. His net worth is still way up there. He's got Ags. He's gonna buy a Sanj actually. We'll see if he changes his mind. But considering that there's a lot of disables that like Axe Call and Fissure stuff, and having stats resistance will be really nice.
Oh, on bottom. All right, they wanted him dead.
That was a little overkill, wasn't it? It's a lot.
Poor old
Everybody was there.
Just pretty much a whole team fight thrown onto that man.
Yep. Well, what are they gonna get out of it? An offlane tier 1. Nobody cares about these towers. They're not. Let's do Radiant. Radiant's one is a little better as opposed to Roche, but this one, not the best. And they're gonna go take a fight with us. Nyx is dead. That's fine.
Yeah,
They get a good grab.
Might catch NoTechies by surprise, not expecting Spirit to go for the 4v5.
Got vision advantage. But wants to get a good duel off or Legion. See who he grabs.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo is going to go straight and hit them all with the silence to get the duel in onto the Axe. Fish comes up inside to help out, slowing down the damage output. They won't get the successful duel win. They may still get the kill. Malik slow, but crystallizes in with the backup, draws the Ray Fire Blast down on a collapse, takes him out with a crit, and there's the trees there hunting for Toronto Tokyo. He still wants to find Malik, but Malik he's going to be able to get out with the blink. He even jumps back in, gets the call off to lock down so bad. As that was a very ballsy move there from Malik. I mean, he was nearly dead, but he goes back in to get that set up to make sure they get a third kill out of it all.
His survivability is insane. I mean, it makes sense to duel him in the sense that that's the guy that's going to counter-initiate if you go in, but the Earthshaker was ready. After the Void Spirit Silence ended, he fissures, he does the Enchant Totem afterwards. The stun duration just offset basically all the duel and AM's jump and ability to kill the Axe at the start of the fight. So great counter-initiation there. Good engagement there.
I mean, that's got to be a very sort of scary outcome for Spirit. Like you've seen that happen, and how do Spirit make a jump into the full 5-man? You know, it seems very, very difficult. Ergon, he's diving in on the base, looking for so bad. They do have the stun lock down, and I mean, Ergon is gone. Okay, I mean, classic Storm play. I mean, it's one of my favorite there. The zip into the base. It's screw objectives. He's dead, Purge.
Zip into base, get stunned, get chain stunned, even though you've got BKB ready. But you made that first mistake, and it's just that was kind of crucial. Spirit's gonna get on the map.
Oh, we're gonna see it again.
There's that replay here. Assume it was Nyx. There's a fissure. He jumped in. Oh, I see. And then the stun got removed by Legion, and that's why he got Spike Carapace off. Okay. Didn't anticipate that little play of events, and as a result, pretty easy dual kill.
Yes. He won't be doing that again. Yes. I don't think he'll be doing that again.
Pressure up on anti-mage. So he's going to be getting closer and closer to being able to get solo kills. And died in a long time. Picks up Orb Destruction as well. Great item to have on him for getting these solo kills. NoTechies still in decent spots. Deep BKBs are up on their cores. Wraith King's got one. He's got a Hyperstone too as well. Axe has BKB now, so he doesn't have to worry about counter initiations.
Well, Malik can fall. Calls have been very on point so far this game. Toronto Tokyo. Not be a bad shout here if Malik can find him. Out as he goes. Cool collapse. Oh, I mean, he's dead. I think he had a bit of an opportunity to blink then, and he was sort of being body blocked by the. I guess he just wasn't looking, Purge.
Was not. I mean, it's a pretty weird place for a kill to happen, right? It would have been a little unexpected, but especially because he was running from his tri-camp towards his jungle. He would expect them to be behind him, actually, not in front. So a bit unfortunate for him, but he certainly could have reacted if his camera's in the right place. It happens sometimes. So much to focus on in these games. Like, you're gonna drop focus for small moments like
mid. Zaya setups there. They've got a lot of control here between the Vortex and the Ray Fire Blast. It's enough. Toronto Tokyo taken out And now they can start beating on the towers.
They were so ready for that. But the chain stun is just too strong. Really straightforward to kill if they just chain them all the way through. Pressure. They don't even have blink on Wraith King. He just walked up and did the follow-up, you know? I guess he's got movement speed talent or whatever, but pulling the map better. Getting these pickoffs on various heroes. The only person they haven't killed in a while is AM. But I don't know if it's going to matter if they can keep their net worth advantages high.
See a nicely timed Roshan respawn here for NoTechies. As with Toronto Tokyo out the game still for 20 seconds. There's not going to be any contest from Spirit. So a free Aegis and Cheese ready for the next push from NoTechies. And also this gold, yeah, it's pushing him very close. Crystallized just under 1,000 gold away from having the completed AC for the next push.
Yeah, and I love that he's got Elven Tunic as well. So he just got a 30 movement speed talent. Now he just got 8% movement speed from his neutral item, and the evasion and the attack speed is just perfect. His single target damage is really, really good this game. Anybody that he goes on is going to be in a lot of trouble. And the fact that his team has such good initiation, Axe Blink, Earthshaker Blink, Storm Jump, he's got so many easy ways to follow up that he just doesn't even have to mess around with Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
So he just gets to put even more gold towards having really good damage solutions against heroes like Anti-Mage.
I mean, and at this point, you know, for the anti-mage, does Yatoro have to just continue to play the split push game? Is it still too much of a lead that NoTechies have for Yatoro to feel that he can actually contribute to these team fights?
I mean, if there's a big committed team fight, absolutely he's going to show up. But if he doesn't pressure the map like this, then it's going to allow NoTechies to do whatever they want for the entirety of the game. And now they're going high ground. I assume AIM's going to just split here and not try to focus. I don't think their team fight is better right now. At least until Void Spirit gets a little bit of solution. I mean, he went Kaya Sanj to help against these stun initiations. Maybe he should have BKB. He's queuing up Aeondis. I think that's a great solution. But they TP back once, and now AM will potentially show up to the fight if Spirit can grab somebody. But they don't even have BKB on Legion either. That's the other thing that they're really missing. Him dueling somebody is just not going to go well. So until then, they just can't fight. It's almost got the money though. About 400 more need.
So bad. There's got Yatoro here with him, and with the Abyssal Blade, they're going to try for this, but a big zip comes across from Aegon, and it's actually going to be so bad, ending up going down. Yatoro not able to finish the kill.
Sick. Able to stop the Meteor Hammer from coming through, and as a result, Axe gets the cheese off. He got up there really fast, I gotta say. As soon as the storm showed up, AIM was like, out.
Yeah, he was not spending a moment too long there. Yatoro completely out of the area, trying to get his BKB finished. Now starting to move up towards him. I mean, Aegon, of course, seeing him. Can they catch him, though? Too hard. He's into the trees. He is away.
All the blink talent. Very difficult. The fact that the threat is there on the map is still really tough. I mean, vision advantage-wise, that's looking really good for NoTechies. They've controlled the whole enemy jungle. There are some pretty good wards for Spirit. They've got ones near Roshan and around the mid lane, but those things are going to time up pretty darn soon. So if they don't get a good move on the map shortly, ideally with a smoke, then they're just going to lose vision advantage, and it's going to get even worse. They're going to be forced to use smokes to do any of this, and they're prepped for it, but don't quite feel ready yet. AM heading top. They get spotted instantly by the ward. We'll see if NoTechies responds. Just take an easy kill mid.
Oh, easy, yeah, indeed. And now Malik is able to get the grab onto Toronto Tokyo. Follow-up Echo Slam. That's him down and out for 70 seconds. And he does not have buyback. Toronto Tokyo spending up. So 500 short of being able to get back in the game here. NoTechies could put some considerable pressure on with this window.
With the AC and everything, its damage is so high. This is the hardest thing about playing against NoTechies lineup. Like, you have to be within fissure range and you die. That's insanely strong. They just don't have solutions against it. They'd have to have like better team fight or really good save. And press attack alone is not enough when you're getting hit with like 4 stuns. Slapping. How do they stop this? 2 racks just because Void Spirit didn't have the buyback. among other reasons. You know, they're losing the game.
Definitely painful though. Not being able to put together any sort of defense. We've seen Yatoro get closer to his next item. Still 1,000 off the BKB. As definitely turning into just one of those games where still a lot of anticipation for what this anti-mage is going to be able to do, what sort of impact he's going to be able to have on the game. As so far, it absolutely hasn't played out the way Spirit would have planned for.
I mean, normally if you're playing anti-mage, you get to follow up from what your allies do. Jump on a guy, use the Abyssal Blade, get some kills, or you get some solo kills on side lanes. But generally, NoTechies has been able to cover each other basically while they do the split push. And because Team Spirit just can't get out of their base, Am can never do these combo kills. So he's basically playing this whole game solo, is what it feels like. Really difficult to do. See what Axe is building towards yet?
Was the old Shadow Blade?
Oh no, it's an Arcane Blink.
Oh yeah, he had the Shadow Blade queued up, but hey, he's changed it up for the Arcane Blink. I mean, a fan of this. I mean, what does this sort of say? Just instant, easier calls?
Yeah, I think so. Lower the cast animation on call. That way, because that's actually one of the issues with Axe's Initiator, is that his call's a little bit slow. So sometimes you get opportunities to pop BKB. But 50% cast point reduction, call is going to be a lot quicker and more likely to catch Am before Manta or BKB or anything. Be expensive though. I mean, in a normal game, you're not going to want to see this, but if we're talking about like little catches that'll end the game for them when they're 2 racks up, it's a really solid item. Good way to spend your surplus gold.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, huge fan of this on Malik. I mean, he certainly knows what he's doing. He's been having a great game. 5-1-11 on the Axe, and a lot of these kills just being down to the initiations that he's been able to find, and the fact that he's going to be able to do that even easier now. Definitely something Spirit have to be very aware of.
They're moving out.
See, they're able to get initiation onto BKB out for Crystallize. They get the duel off the backline. If the duel is there, Collapse will be able to set up and take down Zayats, but Poshka holding his position with the ult, but Crystallize is ready to just continue to push on through it with the BKB. The call's there. Malik, he's grabbed Yatoro. Yatoro, can he get out? Tommy can't. Yatoro's dead. He's out for 90. The anti-mage is down. No buyback on him. The cleanup coming into play, and there was really nothing that the AM could do there. They're just going to call it GG. It is well and truly over, as a brilliant game from NoTechies. And I mean, honestly, Malik's Axe, it was the perfect final pick for the draft from them.
It really was. It laned really well against the anti-mage. Anti-mage was forced out of his lane circumstance, and then they just pressured really well all over the place. Like, Wraith King had to catch up, but like the amount of chain stunning they did all over the place was just really effective. They weighed